Temple Prime lost. Cain dead.
The great deceiver has been defeated!
How can this be?
His time is done. His legacy, a distant memory, for only I know the true path.
Cain?
Our enemies believe we have been defeated, and that I am no longer among the living. They are gravely mistaken.
Come, my brother. It is time you saw the face of the future.
We will take that spark and start a fire which will become a great conflagration! Peace! Through power!
Temple Prime lost. Cain dead. How can this be?
The great deceiver has been defeated!
But you must, to convince them, my child, for if they stand against us, they will become as dust.
Command & Conquer series is one of the only game franchise that uses live action. Personally, I think it's something that is right for this, and it's right for the right game. Specifically in our game, there's a lot of dialogue and a lot of addressing you, the player, directly, looking right at you and talking to you. Now, I don't believe that most CG characters at the level they'd have to be could carry that off. You're not going to look in their eyes and believe there's a heart and a soul and a mind in there.
Cain may trust you, but I do not.
Lead the Black Hand back to the light.
It's really interesting because when I first came on board, I asked about why the live action element still, and they'd gone out basically to the fans and to the players and the gamers and found out that they preferred the live action to the CG. And yeah, I think there's an element of that human. There's a human element there. You really feel like you're playing. You're there with somebody.
Cain may trust you, but I do not.
Natasha Henstridge played Alexa, who's a very complicated character. She's very close to Cain. She has a infatuation with him, as him being this messiah character.
And I am loyal to the cause. To him. I will do as he commands.
Yes, I have been very lucky over the course of my career in the sci-fi world and in this franchise specifically to work with some extraordinarily beautiful, and this game is no different. Natasha Henstridge is involved in Cain's Wrath, and she's just fantastic and quite lovely. But no, I wouldn't I wouldn't dare to compare and contrast any of them, because front to back, hands down, any of them could personally kick my butt from here till Sunday, so I don't want to piss anybody off.
I cannot allow you to connect with the Tacitus. I will not let you usher in an age of machines. I will not be your slave! I will not!
This is unusual for me in that I think I've done other science fiction, but this is the first time I played a character who is leading, large groups of people, has followers depending on him. So I think this, I don't think I've ever done anything where I've had to address nations.
The Black Hand needs your anger. The Black Hand needs your blood. Together we will crush GDI.
Carl was an absolute joy. He just a fantastic actor, and he had a lot of fun, and that's so important to me personally, just as a performer, to have people that really enjoy what they're doing, that can understand this very weird, specific style that we do here in video games, and not just enjoy it, but really embrace it, and add so much to it. And Carl was just fantastic, just fantastic. You succeeded magnificently, my child. The Black Hand has been shown the error of their ways.
Carl Lumley, he was terrific playing his role. He plays a character who, is more or less taking over all of Nod because, Cain is theoretically not there anymore, and he doesn't know that, and so he's this new messiah.
Cain's time is done. His legacy, a distant memory.
Nod needs like a leader, like a figurehead, like a Cain or the Marcion character, or somebody to kind of keep things in. They seem a little bit lost without that leader.
Still among the living. What is it, my brother? You don't seem very happy to see me. Where was Cain during the Marcion uprising? I think Cain was lying low, building his strength again after the recent attack on his body, on his person. I think he was taking time to regroup, reorganize, reformulate a plan, and I think that Marcion actually played out part of Cain's master plan, which was to let the splinter groups find their loyalties in whichever way they could. Just being underground has always been part of Cain's plan. You leave them wanting more, you let the anticipation build for a while, and then you come back with a grand entrance. You touched off the tinder, and now the fire begins to burn.
We do a lot of post effects, and we do a lot of stylization after we've shot the original photography. Sometimes there are green screen elements that we replace with set extensions. We add other GUI to the scenes, all kinds of graphics and an overall stylization to the photography to give it a look that's unique.
No, sir, there's no indication of sabotage or terrorism.
When I do drawings, we do set illustrations, we do conceptual illustrations of what the set is going to look like, and any other unique props that we're going to use that we haven't used before.
So Wanda came in and she just completely measured me from basically ankle to neck and all the way through, and came up with there was great pattern ideas. She'd already come in with sketches and ideas and kind of what the look was going to be, and then sort of tweaks it for your personality and your body and that sort of thing. But I think Alexa's got a pretty cool costume. Very cool.
It's my strength of ripping her off of it. You could know.
Science fiction has always been my favorite genre. In part, I think, because good science fiction, good fiction, deals with humanity and it has to be grounded and rooted in that humanity for it to work.
I think at this point, fans will take the character in whatever direction they want the character to go. I think there are enough unanswered questions that the fans, anytime that I've snuck around on the message boards or looked at the fan sites and seen the debate going back and forth, why is Cain, how does Cain, all those arguments going on and on and on. I don't know that any answers that we provide will ever satisfy anyone. I think that we'll come up with a whole brand new slew of questions, which I'm absolutely fine to contribute to. I would love to be the international bald man of mystery for as long as possible.
Is that light working, Rich? At the end of this,
it is in 3 different time periods. So one is pre-Command & Conquer 3, and Cain's environment is really destroyed, beat up. He's been through some wars. The technology is older. There's reel-to-reels in there and different types of computer equipment that you don't see. So everything is changing as you move along through the story.
I think that over the course of this project, at least in the minds of the writers, the producers, the creators, the designers of the game, I think the character has evolved to a certain degree. I'm stubbornly fighting it. I think, why argue with what works? Damn it. I have been this stoic, angry, smirking, bald menace for the last 12 years. why fudge with what works? But you know what? I have to admit that every once in a while, it's good to cringe a little bit and to shake things up. So I can see the differences in game. Yes. Any fan who truly believes that Kane is going soft in his old age should meet me in person, and we can have a very clear, concise, and quick debate on the matter and put that issue to rest pretty quickly.
Well, I am extremely excited to be here doing this, and I am very much looking forward to my son playing this game. He has introduced me to many of them, only to beat me badly and humiliate me. And he will do the same with this game, but I will know much more about it than he will. And keep it in mind, Brandon, I can't tell you right now, but I'm looking at some of the coolest stuff in the world right at this moment. I hope you are looking at a textbook.
We'd finished up today with some of the pivotal scenes of Command & Conquer 3, Kane's Wrath. One of the most dynamic sort of wrestling between two characters scenes that we've had in the series to date, with a very significant surprise at the end. So there's been a lot of stunt work and grunting and throwing around and gnashing of teeth.
It was great. Very great working with everybody here. Fun, lots of red lights. It was a lot of fun, really. It was kind of fun to get to play somebody who there's definitely a heightened sense of reality, and everything is very intense.
It'll be fun to see how the audience reacts to this, because I think we're doing some really, really cool stuff this time.
It's time to sleep. To sleep. Your chance to dream.
Welcome to this exclusive edition of Battleground Reconnaissance. As a thank you for pre-ordering Command & Conquer 3 Kane's Wrath, we're going to take a look at 8 of our new multiplayer maps and show you their secrets. Now, the first 5 of these maps are still early in development and haven't been named yet, so let's take a look. This is a new yellow zone for 3 players. Player 1 starts with a medium green tib field with easy access to a tib spike in the center of the map. Player 2 does not have easy access to the center, but instead starts with 2 fields and 2 spikes. The third and final player starts just like player 1. In the middle of the map are 2 tib spikes and a blue field. Dead center is an EMP overlooking player 2's base. It's protected by 2 turrets and a few garrisonable buildings, so expect it to be an early spot of contention. Here we have a blue zone in a metropolitan area centered around a park. The map's for 4 players, with 2 starting in the city and 2 starting in the park. Every player has a blue Tiberium field. In the center of the park is an expansive green Tiberium field with 2 spikes and 2 expansion points. Each metropolitan area has many garrisonable buildings to act as a buffer zone between players. Additionally, there's an EMP control center between player 1 and player 2's start locations. This peninsula can accommodate 3 competitors. The first thing most players will notice is that all 3 starting green fields are attached to a center blue field. This connects all of the bases for harvester harassment and vehicle assault. Behind each starting position is an EMP control center. This map is unique because each player has one. Also in the starting area is a protected green field. The buffer zone between players is 3 small cities, each with 2 turrets, a tib spike, lots of garrisonable buildings, and a small green expansion field. Players start in the corners at a small green field on this 4-player blue zone map. Each edge has a bluff protecting 2 more green fields and a blue field that grows slowly as the game progresses. The center of the map is fairly small, with lots of desirable tech structures and garrisonable buildings. There are 4 tip spikes, an EMP, and 4 expansion points that will actually give you ground control in your enemy's starting area. Up to 6 players can fight over this completely decimated red zone. The first starting position is between 2 fields, 1 blue and 1 green. The second has just one green field, an EMP, and easy access to the center. Finally, the third position has an EMP, a green field, and a tip spike. The other side of the map is a mirror image. The center of the map has 3 more green expansion fields on each side. This map is a red zone, so expect to have plenty of income. Down the middle are 6 tip spikes and 3 damaged bridges. Now let's take a look at some maps that are a little farther along. 4 players start in the corners of this yellow zone map, each on a very protected plateau with a starting green Tiberium field. There are additional green fields on the north and south edges. Center stage is a huge green field in the middle of this Chinese port town. There are 2 EMPs and 2 tip spikes around this field. A collection of damaged garrisonable buildings make up the center of this map. There are 2 more tip spikes at the dock to the west. This map is unique because there are small patches of green and blue Tiberium everywhere. It's for 4 players with starting positions on either side of this ridge. 2 of the corners have a blue field and 2 green fields each to fight over, protected by several bunkers. Since your harvesters will be gathering Tiberium all over the map, they will be extra vulnerable to harassment. The other corners have 2 tip spikes each and a few empty garrisonable buildings. There are 2 more tip spikes in the center of this map, certain to be early points of contention. This is a 4-player snow-covered map set in Russia. In addition to the starting fields, there are 4 more green expansion fields in the corners and 4 small blue fields sunken into the ground slightly towards the center of the map. The ridge surrounding these blue fields provides a great location to station your infantry. Midfield is a subway hub that connects to 4 isolated plateaus with 2 tip spikes each. The only other way your opponents could steal them is by using call for transport. Well, I hope you enjoyed this sneak peek at some of the 20+ new maps available in Kane's Wrath when it ships this March. And be sure to check out www.commandandconquer.com for the latest up-to-the-second information and Command & Conquer TV programming.
Your markings do something that is further down on the prompter.
I lost the prompter here for a second.
But you're not coming in. That's the long and the short of it.
Okay, all right.
Note to self, breathe before laugh. Breathe before laugh. Breathe. You're gonna kill me. Breathe before laugh. The Tacitus call it. Do you see how its signal is fluctuating? If we are to secure the artifact, we must move quickly before we lose it forever. And I said artifact, I know I did. And that's not really a word!
Haircut!
Listen to 6. Listen to. You will find that Abbas Electa. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. Cut. That's good.
Going again?
All right.
Set.
I cannot let you connect to the something with it.
Rolling.
Okay. Ready?
I will not be your slave! I will not!
What have you done?
It was taking control! It was turning against you! What the hell's going on? There's guns flying. I will not be your slave! I will not!
What have you done?
It was trying to control you! It was turning against you and my light's gone and I really messed up. Sorry. We can't do this that way.
Go again?
It was taking control. It was turning against you.
I'm reading this thing so on.
I will not let you usher in an age of machines. I will not be your slave! I will not!
What have you done?
I think the gun's gone again, isn't it?
What have you done? What have you done? And you! And what have you done?
What have we all done? Going again.
We will make that in.
I'm not doing anything interesting, really.
Were you checking your email?
I am checking my email. I'll give you guys a high sign if I do anything interesting, and we'll bring you on over. But pretty much, I'm not doing anything interesting at all. Just so you know.
Our team has actually been to a number of games convention shows at Leipzig, starting I think 3 years ago is the first one that we came to. And we discovered it was a great place to talk to people about upcoming products and to connect with the community.
I actually think the Command & Conquer fans in all the Western world anyway are very similar. You know, there's almost a nation of Command & Conquer fans, you know?
Consumers as well as press and buyers come to the show. So it's not just a business show, it's a place where gamers can connect with games. And to have, 100,000, and I think even in this case this year, 200,000 people come to this location, converge on one convention center, be able to go and play the games is amazing.
Well, it was like waking up, you know? It was like, hey, these are the absolute experts, they're the absolute loyal fans. They're crazy. You know, we should be speaking with these guys. We've got lots to learn from them, and they've deserved it as well. You know, the amount of time people put in, not just playing the game, but doing stuff around the game. You know, we've got a lot to learn from these guys. And so, yeah, there was this realization, and then it was a matter of changing hearts and minds at EA, which was hard work, and that's why it took a long time, you know. And once that happened, though, that they realized that we were listening, and we were really wanting input from the guys, it started rolling. We got so many impulses from the community itself, and so it's grown and grown and grown.
That's very flattering. It's nice to see everybody. Thanks for coming. The game looks amazing, doesn't it? And this is the first time I've seen it today, too. It just looks fantastic.
I guess we knew it was going to be a really good game because we had done a previous game with Dune 2 that was very, very successful. And we knew it was going to be much more well received than some people were believing. But I mean, obviously, nobody could know that you're going to have something that would endure this long. This has been really spectacular.
We are putting some connective tissue in place between Tiberian Sun and the Firestorm expansion pack and Command & Conquer 3. It's something that we know fans have been passionate about. Ever since Command & Conquer 3 was announced, there's been an incredible amount of traffic on our boards, wondering where a lot of the signature elements of Tiberian Sun went. And I think it's time that we go back into the past, pick up where Tiberian Sun left off, tell some of that story, reconnect people with hover technology for GDI, the cyborgs for Nod, answer some questions about the fate of Cabal, and what happened to Kane in that period between Tiberian Sun and C&C3.
Given where we are in the modern world and all the things that occur, this is a scenario that might be a scenario that could happen.
It does connect C&C3 to the games that have gone before.
The reason I came back to play Kane was because of the fan involvement and the fan interest in the game, and it's been so flattering to me that over the course of the last, what's it been, guys, 15 years since the first game? Pretty much, yeah. For the last 15 years, people have stayed so loyal and so interested and so involved in the Command & Conquer franchise, and in me personally, it's been very flattering, and this is why I came back.
I think that we've always had a real base of fans in Germany, because the community turns out in a big way at the Leipzig show, and it's great to be able to talk to people about the games face to face in a forum like the EA booth, the show itself, and then at special events that we coordinate.
Now, I can sit as a marketing guy in Germany and say to you, we need red tanks, you know, but it's a lot stronger if I've got, and by the way, I've got 40,000 nutters here in Germany saying we need red tanks, you know. They help me to speak with you and to prioritize, you know.
I mean, the millions of units of sales are just numbers on a chart. And then when you really see how many fans you've touched, you really start to understand the depth and complexity of what you've created.
Here we are at the Games Convention 2007 in Leipzig, Germany. Now, this is the special EA Business Lounge, and as you can see, it's kind of an exclusive gathering where a lot of the top-tier press and marketing and different salespeople come to check out EA's special secret lineup of titles that they don't show to the public. Now, for Battlecast Primetime fans, we're actually going to take you behind closed doors to see what Command & Conquer 3 Kane's Wrath is all about. So let's have a look. Now, as you can see, typically, you're not allowed to film back here, but for Battlecast Primetime fans, let's have a sneak peek.
Welcome to Command & Conquer 3 Kane's Wrath. This is the first expansion pack to Command & Conquer 3 Tiberium Wars, which came out earlier this spring. We're doing a lot of cool things in this expansion pack. First and foremost, we're adding an entire new campaign that spans 20 years of the Tiberium universe, going from the end of the Second Tiberium War, where Command & Conquer Tiberian Sun Firestorm left off, taking us through the events of Command & Conquer 3 and also beyond that in the storyline. So let's jump into the gameplay. I'll show you examples of some of these modified units as well as some of those new units that you just saw in that teaser. So let's go right in. So as we come into this yellow zone environment, you'll see a familiar unit, and this is our Zone Trooper, which was a mainstay of GDI's army in C&C3. Unfortunately, the Zone Trooper didn't have any defense against aircraft units, so we're now introducing our Zone Raider. And the Zone Raider comes with shoulder-mounted anti-air rockets, which allow her to, defend herself a little bit out there in the field against aircraft. She also has one of our brand new weapons, and that's the Sonic Cannon. This is essentially shoots a sonic grenade that then explodes in an area effect attack. So those enemies who like to spam lots of units against you and just pile lots of units close together, the Zone Raider will be able to chew those up quite easily. So she's going to be actually a unique sub-faction unit that only that specific sub-faction will get. So if that's the kind of style that you like, you might want to choose that sub-faction. I'm following this convoy truck as I destroyed that Nod convoy. Granger denoted this truck as an objective, so I'm going to follow it. But unfortunately, I've come across some Black Hand troops, and although my Zone Raiders are a bit more powerful than my Zone Troopers, it doesn't really change their place in the combat chain. They still fit that role. So against those Black Hand, they're still pretty vulnerable. And to solve that, we're introducing one of our brand new units. This is the GDI Hammerhead gunship. And unlike the Orc and the Firehawk, which everyone loved, the Orc and the Firehawk had to go back to the base every few minutes and rearm at the airfield. The Hammerhead doesn't need to do that. It comes with twin autocannons that have unlimited ammunition, allowing them to stay out in the field as long as possible. This is actually one of the units that the fans really requested on the boards after C&C3, so we were happy to implement it and kind of fill that gap in GDI's combat chain. Unfortunately, every unit has their weakness, and the Hammerheads is also against aircraft. It doesn't have any natural anti-air defenses. In fact, GDI as a whole in C&C3 didn't have a very strong anti-air game. So to fill that gap, we're adding another one of our brand new units, and this is the GDI Slingshot anti-aircraft vehicle. So there's several awesome things about the Slingshot. First off, he comes with these quad cannons that are able to just decimate enemy aircraft. Enemy aircraft are going to be absolutely no match for this unit. And the other really cool thing about this guy is that he's a hover tank. So just like we're bridging some of that fiction between the Tiberian Sun era and C&C3, we're also bridging some of that technology. So we're bringing back that hover technology, which fans have requested for quite a long time. And now as a hover tank, the anti-air Scout is a bit faster than your average treaded tank like the Predator or the Mammoth. But unfortunately, that results in them having a bit lower armor. So as they come across enemy troops, they're not going to be able to hold their own. So they're actually more of a support type of unit, able to chase down those aircraft, but they're not really solo type units. And the other unfortunate thing about the AA Scout is that, well, it's only AA. So as it comes up against these ground troops, it really can't hold its own. So to take out some of these Nod ground troops, I'm going to bring in one of our unique sub-faction upgrades. So this is our standard Orca. You remember him obviously from C&C3, but he has that sonic grenade that you saw in those Zone Raiders that again explodes in that area effect bubble. So if you like using that type of strategy against your enemy, you're playing against those players who like to spam lots of units, maybe you want to choose this sub-faction and get those extra armaments for your units. And as I continue to move throughout this mission, I'm going to come across this Nod base, and unfortunately it's heavily defended by anti-aircraft turrets, so my Orcas aren't really going to be able to crack this base. I'm going to need to bring in a mix of some of our new units. So as we go back, you'll see I'm bringing in more of those Hammerhead gunships and also new units that I'll introduce in a few seconds. But the other really cool thing about the Hammerhead that I didn't mention before is that it can actually garrison another infantry unit inside. So as I move these different units in, the Hammerhead is going to gain the extra firepower from those infantry units. So if I put zone troopers in there, it'll be able to fire railguns down from the sky. If I put grenadiers in there, they're going to chuck grenades out the window. And if I put maybe some rocket troops in there, it might actually give it a little bit of anti-air defense, since rockets can shoot both ground and air. So you have a lot of customizable options with this new Hammerhead unit that's really going to make it versatile for GDI's air game. So I won't be able to take in these Hammerheads just yet due to those Nod anti-aircraft turrets. I'm going to need something on the ground to take those out. And to do that, we're going to use another one of our brand new units. This is the GDI Shatterer. And again, this is a hover vehicle to kind of bring some of that technology back. Again, makes it a bit faster, but a bit more lightly armored. And the Shatter is really cool because it actually takes the sonic emitter weapon that was a popular defensive weapon in C&C3, and now we've put it on an actual vehicle to make it mobile in the field. And if you remember, the really cool thing about the sonic weapon is that if you can line up your shots, you can actually hit multiple targets in one shot. So for those players who are really up on their micro and able to position their units in the right areas, you can actually take out multiple targets with one shot. This is going to make it a pretty powerful offensive unit, but again, it's going to be fairly lightly armored, so you're going to want to defend it with some of those heavier vehicles on GDI. And so now that I've taken out these anti-aircraft turrets, I can bring in those Hammerheads to start raining some hell down on this Nod base. And as I bring in these Hammerheads, you're going to notice some really cool things happening. All those infantry weapons are also firing off, along with those twin autocannons. So as you see those railguns shooting down, you can hear that familiar commando machine gun that's firing down. If I were to put snipers in here, they would be able to take out infantry really fast. Those grenades are flying out the windows. So an extremely versatile air game has finally come to GDI, and we think that GDI players are really going to love this new strategy and tactic they actually have. And now that I've come across this base and found my final target, which is this Nod Conyard, Granger has awarded me one of our new support powers. This is an orbital strike that fires high kinetic energy projectiles down from space to rain down on enemy forces and enemy structures. It's going to be a pretty powerful late game power for GDI, and something that we think the fans are going to like. So all these new changes to GDI is going to be really cool. It adds a lot more customizability, a lot more versatility to the units, and also bringing back some of that Tiberian Sun technology, which is really cool finally for C&C3. So now that I've shown you some of the new GDI toys you're going to have in the expansion, let's jump over to Nod and I'll show you some of those cool new Nod units. So as we come into this environment, you're going to notice kind of a new look. This is a red zone, but unlike all the Italian red zones that you saw in C&C3, this is actually a blue zone that's been converted into a red zone over time due to extreme Tiberium infestation. You're going to see a lot of new environments in C&C3 Kane's Wrath, because we're going to be taking you global with that global conquest mode. So you'll see environments in Russia and China, Southern Africa. You're finally going to get to see the Tiberium globe at its fullest with C&C3 Kane's Wrath. And we're very happy to introduce one of our brand new Nod units. These are the Awakened. This is a Nod cyborg unit that makes a return from the Tiberian Sun era yet again. And these are actually remnants of Cabal's former army that have risen to help Nod in the Third Tiberian War. They come with a machine gun that's actually welded onto their left arm, which is going to make them an extremely powerful anti-infantry unit. They're going to be no match. Zone troopers are going to be no match against these new cyborgs. So we actually released a concept art of these guys in the previous C&C TV footage, and I know the boards have been going crazy about who are these cyborg units. So they are indeed cyborgs, and they're back for now Kane's Wrath. So you can expect again to see more of that technology from the Tiberian Sun era coming back over to the new C&C3. And now that I've cleared out the middle of this map, I can continue to bring in some more reinforcements. So this is another one of our brand new units. This is the Spectre Artillery. And the really cool thing about these guys is that they're stealth. So playing into that nod, hit and run stealth gameplay, they're stealth just like the stealth tanks or your Vertigos. So I can sneak them around and this GDI convoy isn't going to be able to see them. So I'm going to try and set up a bit of an ambush here and see if I can get these GDI vehicles in a pinch. So as I line up my Spectres using Formation Preview, this would usually be kind of a tough situation because GDI vehicles are really tough. But the Cyborgs also come with a secondary unit ability, which is an EMP cannon, which is welded to their right arm. So they're able to disable enemy vehicles, which is going to then allow my Spectres to uncloak and hit them from behind. So you can see this combination of a new unit ability and a new unit has allowed me to potentially win a battle that I probably would have lost in C&C3. This is going to be a strategy that might help players against some of those GDI mammoth tanks, juggernauts, or maybe those Skrin alien tripods. So Nod's going to get some new kind of finesse gameplay tools to bolster their arsenal in C&C3 Kane's Wrath. And obviously this GDI convoy was going somewhere, so as we continue to explore the map, we find this GDI base up in the northwestern corner. And it looks pretty heavily defended. They have some watchtowers, guardian cannons, you can see lots of infantry in here. So obviously the first step I want to take out this base is to nullify its power supply. So to do that, I'm going to use another kind of stealthy tactic that we're adding into Kane's Wrath. So you see here some familiar units from C&C3. This was the Shadow Team, which was an infiltration unit, and we've given them a new unit ability. This is to deploy an artillery beacon anywhere on the map. So as I move these shadows in, you're going to see that I deploy that beacon, which is stealth, and so the enemy cannot see it unless they have some of those stealth detectors. Now, once I've deployed that beacon, it allows my Spectres to bombard anywhere in the radius of that beacon. So if the enemy doesn't see it, I can potentially launch artillery strikes from anywhere on the map. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to target the enemy power plant and see if I can take out this base's power. So now that I've successfully taken out the base's power, you can see their ion cannon went down, their defenses have now become disabled, so it's going to allow me to finally mount an assault on this GDI base. And to do that, we're going to use another one of our brand new units. This is the Nod Reckoner Armored Personnel Carrier. And the cool thing about this guy is that he can actually garrison 2 units inside of him. I think he's the only vehicle that can actually garrison 2 units inside, so that's pretty new. And then, in addition, he has a bit of a unique power in terms of being an APC. When he's moving around, those infantry cannot fire out. So it's not exactly like the Hammerhead, so that kind of sucks. But he does have a cool ability where he can deploy into a bunker state. And this is a one-time use, so you have to make a really strategic decision as to when you want to use this. But once he deploys into a bunker, he actually gains a 3rd garrison slot, and then all those units can fire out as they were in a normal APC. So you can move this either into an offensive kind of blockade run position, move it into a territory, and then just start blowing out from all the hatches, or maybe you want to use it more defensively as an extra defense on your base. So it gives you again those strategic options and customizability that we really want in our new units in C&C3 Kane's Wrath. So you'll notice I loaded up these Reckoners with Cyborgs, with Black Hand. This is another one of our new sub-faction units, the Tiberium Trooper, who has liquid Tiberium strapped to his back to shoot out a liquid Tiberium goo at the enemy. And I'm going to go ahead and try and just blockade run into this GDI base. These Zone Troopers might prove a problem, but I've actually upgraded my Reckoners with Dozer Blades, which allows me to just crush those heavy infantry, so they're not going to be any problem for me. And now that I'm in this base, you're going to notice that none of the units are firing out. But once I deploy these bunkers, you're going to notice some really cool fireworks. So you'll see that once I deploy these units, the treads fold down, the front and rear hatches blow out, and now all those units can start firing out with their different weapons. You can see some of our new lasers. That's actually an upgrade on those awakened cyborgs. You can see that Tiberium weapon, shooting out from those Tiberium troopers. Black Hand are taking out the structures. So again, just an absolute mix of units that you're able to do via this Reckoner and some of your infantry. Again, it's kind of how we're also bringing infantry a bit more into the late game, allowing them to be a little more powerful by giving them some of that extra added defense. I can also continue bombarding this base with those artillery, and so being able to take out this GDI base, I was able to do some new tactics and new strategies that NOD didn't have before. And again, just like the GDI players with their new units, we think NOD players are also going to love the new units that we're bringing to Command & Conquer 3 Kane's Wrath. So we have a lot of cool features in this expansion pack. We're really excited. We've taken a lot of feedback from the fans, as you can see in some of our units, and bringing some of that old technology back. Overall, the expansion pack will be out in spring 2008. We can't wait for you to get your hands on it.
Здравствуйте, дорогие любители компьютерных игр, посетители выставки «Игромир». Меня зовут Григорий Косавин. Я участвую в разработке игры Command & Conquer в Соединенных Штатах в Лос-Анджелесе. К сожалению, мы не смогли приехать в Москву, чтобы самим показать вам наш новый вариант Command & Conquer 3 Kane's Wrath. В качестве компенсации один из наших разработчиков, Джим Весело, сделал видео, которое рассказывает о новых войсковых юнитах ГСБ и НОД. Мы надеемся, что это видео вам понравится, и вы с интересом и нетерпением будете ждать появления Kane's Wrath. Игра поступит у вас в продажу весной будущего года. Ее можно будет играть на персональном компьютере и Xbox 360. Надеемся, что вы получите большое удовольствие. До свидания.
Welcome to Command & Conquer 3 Kane's Wrath. This is the first expansion pack to Command & Conquer 3 Tiberium Wars, which came out earlier this spring. We're doing a lot of cool things in this expansion pack. First and foremost, we're adding an entire new campaign that spans 20 years of the Tiberium universe, going from the end of the Second Tiberium War, where Command & Conquer Tiberian Sun Firestorm left off, taking us through the events of Command & Conquer 3 and also beyond that in the storyline. So let's jump into the gameplay. I'll show you examples of some of these modified units as well as some of those new units that you just saw in that teaser. So let's go right in. So as we come into this yellow zone environment, you'll see a familiar unit, and this is our Zone Trooper, which was a mainstay of GDI's army in C&C3. Unfortunately, the Zone Trooper didn't have any defense against aircraft units, so we're now introducing our Zone Raider. And the Zone Raider comes with shoulder-mounted anti-air rockets, which allow her to, defend herself a little bit out there in the field against aircraft. She also has one of our brand new weapons, and that's the Sonic Cannon. This is essentially shoots a sonic grenade that then explodes in an area effect attack. So those enemies who like to spam lots of units against you and just pile lots of units close together, the Zone Raider will be able to chew those up quite easily. So she's going to be actually a unique sub-faction unit that only that specific sub-faction will get. So if that's the kind of style that you like, you might want to choose that sub-faction. I'm following this convoy truck as I destroyed that NOD convoy. Granger denoted this truck as an objective, so I'm going to follow it. But unfortunately, I've come across some Black Hand troops, and although my Zone Raiders are a bit more powerful than my Zone Troopers, it doesn't really change their place in the combat chain. They still fit that role. So against those Black Hand, they're still pretty vulnerable. And to solve that, we're introducing one of our brand new units. This is the GDI Hammerhead gunship. And unlike the Orc and the Firehawk, which everyone loved, the Orc and the Firehawk had to go back to the base every few minutes and rearm at the airfield. The Hammerhead doesn't need to do that. It comes with twin autocannons that have unlimited ammunition, allowing them to stay out in the field as long as possible. This is actually one of the units that the fans really requested on the boards after C&C3, so we were happy to implement it and kind of fill that gap in GDI's combat chain. Unfortunately, every unit has their weakness, and the Hammerheads is also against aircraft. It doesn't have any natural anti-air defenses. In fact, GDI as a whole in C&C3 didn't have a very strong anti-air game. So to fill that gap, we're adding another one of our brand new units, and this is the GDI Slingshot anti-aircraft vehicle. So there's several awesome things about the Slingshot. First off, he comes with these quad cannons that are able to just decimate enemy aircraft. Enemy aircraft are going to be absolutely no match for this unit. And the other really cool thing about this guy is that he's a hover tank. So just like we're bridging some of that fiction between the Tiberian Sun era and C&C3, we're also bridging some of that technology. So we're bringing back that hover technology, which fans have requested for quite a long time. And now as a hover tank, the anti-air scout is a bit faster than your average treaded tank like the Predator or the Mammoth. But unfortunately, that results in them having a bit lower armor. So as they come across enemy troops, they're not going to be able to hold their own. So they're actually more of a support type of unit, able to chase down those aircraft, but they're not really solo type units. And the other unfortunate thing about the AA Scout is that, well, it's only AA. So as it comes up against these ground troops, it really can't hold its own. So to take out some of these NOD ground troops, I'm going to bring in one of our unique sub-faction upgrades. So this is our standard Orca. You remember him obviously from C&C3, but he has that sonic grenade that you saw in those Zone Raiders that again explodes in that area effect bubble. So if you like using that type of strategy against your enemy, you're playing against those players who like to spam lots of units, maybe you want to choose this sub-faction and get those extra armaments for your units. And as I continue to move throughout this mission, I'm going to come across this NOD base, and unfortunately it's heavily defended by anti-aircraft turrets, so my Orcas aren't really going to be able to crack this base. I'm going to need to bring in a mix of some of our new units. So as we go back, you'll see I'm bringing in more of those Hammerhead gunships and also a new unit that I'll introduce in a few seconds. But the other really cool thing about the Hammerhead that I didn't mention before is that it can actually garrison another infantry unit inside. So as I move these different units in, the Hammerhead is going to gain the extra firepower from those infantry units. So if I put zone troopers in there, it'll be able to fire railguns down from the sky. If I put grenadiers in there, they're going to chuck grenades out the window. And if I put maybe some rocket troops in there, it might actually give it a little bit of anti-air defense since rockets can shoot both ground and air. So you have a lot of customizable options with this new Hammerhead unit that's really going to make it versatile for GDI's air game. So I won't be able to take in these Hammerheads just yet due to those NOD anti-aircraft turrets. I'm going to need something on the ground to take those out. And to do that, we're going to use another one of our brand new units. This is the GDI Shatterer. And again, this is a hover vehicle to kind of bring some of that technology back. Again, makes it a bit faster, but a bit more lightly armored. And the Shatterer is really cool because it actually takes the sonic emitter weapon that was a popular defensive weapon in C&C3, and now we've put it on an actual vehicle to make it mobile in the field. And if you remember, the really cool thing about the sonic weapon is that if you can line up your shots, you can actually hit multiple targets in one shot. So for those players who are really up on their micro and able to position their units in the right areas, you can actually take out multiple targets with one shot. This is going to make it a pretty powerful offensive unit, but again, it's going to be fairly lightly armored, so you're going to want to defend it with some of those heavier vehicles on GDI. And so now that I've taken out these anti-aircraft turrets, I can bring in those Hammerheads to start raining some hell down in this NOD base. And as I bring in these Hammerheads, you're going to notice some really cool things happening. All those infantry weapons are also firing off, along with those twin autocannons. So as you see those railguns shooting down, you can hear that familiar commando machine gun that's firing down. If I were to put snipers in here, they would be able to take out infantry really fast. Those grenades are flying out the windows. So an extremely versatile air game has finally come to GDI, and we think that GDI players are really going to love this new strategy and tactic they actually have. And now that I've come across this base and found my final target, which is this NOD Conyard, Granger has awarded me one of our new support powers. This is an orbital strike that fires high kinetic energy projectiles down from space to rain down on enemy forces and enemy structures. It's going to be a pretty powerful late game power for GDI, and something that we think the fans are going to like. So all these new changes to GDI is going to be really cool. It adds a lot more customizability, a lot more versatility to the units, and also bringing back some of that Tiberian Sun technology, which is really cool finally for C&C3. So now that I've shown you some of the new GDI toys you're going to have in the expansion, let's jump over to NOD and I'll show you some of those cool new NOD units. So as we come into this environment, you're going to notice kind of a new look. This is a red zone, but unlike all the Italian red zones that you saw in C&C3, this is actually a blue zone that's been converted into a red zone over time due to extreme Tiberium infestation. You're going to see a lot of new environments in C&C3 Kane's Wrath. because we're going to be taking you global with that global conquest mode. So you'll see environments in Russia and China, Southern Africa. You're finally going to get to see the Tiberium globe at its fullest with C&C3 Kane's Wrath. And we're very happy to introduce one of our brand new Nod units. These are the Awakened. This is a Nod cyborg unit that makes a return from the Tiberian Sun era yet again. And these are actually remnants of Cabal's former army that have risen to help Nod in the Third Tiberian War. They come with a machine gun that's actually welded onto their left arm, which is going to make them an extremely powerful anti-infantry unit. They're going to be no match. Zone Troopers are going to be no match against these new cyborgs. So we actually released a concept art of these guys in the previous C&C TV footage, and I know the boards have been going crazy about who are these cyborg units. So they are indeed cyborgs, and they're back for now Kane's Wrath. So you can expect again to see more of that technology from the Tiberian Sun era coming back over to the new C&C3. And now that I've cleared out the middle of this map, I can continue to bring in some more reinforcements. So this is another one of our brand new units. This is the Spectre Artillery. And the really cool thing about these guys is that they're stealth. So playing into that Nod, hit and run stealth gameplay, they're stealth just like the stealth tanks or your Vertigos. So I can sneak them around and this GDI convoy isn't going to be able to see them. So I'm going to try and set up a bit of an ambush here and see if I can get these GDI vehicles in a pinch. So as I line up my Spectres using Formation Preview, this would usually be kind of a tough situation because GDI vehicles are really tough. But the Cyborgs also come with a secondary unit ability, which is an EMP cannon, which is welded to their right arm. So they're able to disable enemy vehicles, which is going to then allow my Spectres to uncloak and hit them from behind. So you can see this combination of a new unit ability and a new unit has allowed me to potentially win a battle that I probably would have lost in C&C3. This is going to be a strategy that might help players against some of those GDI mammoth tanks, juggernauts, or maybe those Skrin alien tripods. So Nod's going to get some new kind of finesse gameplay tools to bolster their arsenal in C&C3 Kane's Wrath. And obviously this GDI convoy was going somewhere, so as we continue to explore the map, we find this GDI base up in the northwestern corner. And it looks pretty heavily defended. They have some watchtowers, guardian cannons, you can see lots of infantry in here. So obviously the first step I want to take out this base is to nullify its power supply. So to do that, I'm going to use another kind of stealthy tactic that we're adding into Kane's Wrath. So you see here some familiar units from C&C3. This was the Shadow Team, which was an infiltration unit, and we've given them a new unit ability. This is to deploy an artillery beacon anywhere on the map. So as I move these shadows in, you're going to see that I deploy that beacon, which is stealth, and so the enemy cannot see it unless they have some of those stealth detectors. Now, once I've deployed that beacon, it allows my Spectres to bombard anywhere in the radius of that beacon. So if the enemy doesn't see it, I can potentially launch artillery strikes from anywhere on the map. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to target the enemy power plant and see if I can take out this base's power. So now that I've successfully taken out the base's power, you can see their ion cannon went down, their defenses have now become disabled, so it's going to allow me to finally mount an assault on this GDI base. And to do that, we're going to use another one of our brand new units. This is the Nod Reckoner Armored Personnel Carrier. And the cool thing about this guy is that he can actually garrison 2 units inside of him. I think he's the only vehicle that can actually garrison 2 units inside, so that's pretty new. And then, in addition, he has a bit of a unique power in terms of being an APC. When he's moving around, those infantry cannot fire out. So it's not exactly like the Hammerhead, so that kind of sucks. But he does have a cool ability where he can deploy into a bunker state. And this is a one-time use, so you have to make a really strategic decision as to when you want to use this. But once he deploys into a bunker, he actually gains a 3rd garrison slot, and then all those units can fire out as they were in a normal APC. So you can move this either into an offensive kind of blockade run position, move it into a territory, and then just start blowing out from all the hatches, or maybe you want to use it more defensively as an extra defense on your base. So it gives you again those strategic options and customizability that we really want in our new units in C&C3 Kane's Wrath. So you'll notice I loaded up these Reckoners with Cyborgs, with Black Hand. This is another one of our new sub-faction units, the Tiberium Trooper, who has liquid Tiberium strapped to his back to shoot out a liquid Tiberium goo at the enemy. and I'm going to go ahead and try and just blockade run into this GDI base. These zone troopers might prove a problem, but I've actually upgraded my reckoners with dozer blades, which allows me to just crush those heavy infantry, so they're not going to be any problem for me. And now that I'm in this base, you're going to notice that none of the units are firing out. But once I deploy these bunkers, you're going to notice some really cool fireworks. So you'll see that once I deploy these units, the treads fold down, the front and rear hatches blow out, and now all those units can start firing out with their different weapons. You can see some of our new lasers. That's actually an upgrade on those awakened cyborgs. You can see that Tiberium weapon, shooting out from those Tiberium troopers. Black Hand are taking out the structures. So again, just an absolute mix of units that you're able to do via this Reckoner and some of your infantry. Again, it's kind of how we're also bringing infantry a bit more into the late game, allowing them to be a little more powerful by giving them some of that extra added defense. I can also continue bombarding this base with those artillery, and so being able to take out this GDI base, I was able to use some new tactics and new strategies that NOD didn't have before. And again, just like the GDI players with their new units, we think NOD players are also going to love the new units that we're bringing to Command & Conquer 3 Kane's Wrath. So we have a lot of cool features in this expansion pack. We're really excited. We've taken a lot of feedback from the fans, as you can see in some of our units, and bringing some of that old technology back. Overall, the expansion pack will be out in spring 2008. We can't wait for you to get your hands on it.
Watching Battlecast Primetime on Command & Conquer TV. 5. Net puts GDI versus Carrod's Nod on Tournament Arena. 4. Data loss wipes out every structure in one fell swoop except... 3, 2, 1. Wagers are in, gentlemen. Let's rumble. Today's match, Dackle playing as the Brotherhood of Nod versus Arctic playing as Skrin on Tournament Coastline.
And to start off today's battle, we've got Dackle in the southeast corner, going for an early crane build, building a couple power plants, and what's this? Packing up his MCV.
When we return, APOC live and on the loose in Leipzig. Plus, we go behind closed doors for exclusive news on the C&C expansion pack and an eye-opening interview with C&C3 designer Sam Bass.
It's all here on Aftermath.
What's up, everyone? I'm Amy.
And I'm Drew. Welcome to Aftermath, the show that gives you the inside scoop on what you saw and a few things that you didn't on Command & Conquer TV's Battlecast Primetime.
We've got extras from our exclusive interview with the man himself, CNC's very own Joe Coogan. Wait till you see what they didn't show you.
In addition, we'll take a closer look at our Battlecast Primetime hosts and show you a bit of their off-the-air personalities. We've also got some more information on how to get you on the show.
And finally, what everyone's been most excited to hear about, the expansion pack. We've got insider information straight from the Games Convention in Leipzig, Germany. You won't want to miss it.
Well, that's a lot for us to get through. Let's get right to it.
Dev tested, player approved. This is Command School. You're watching Command School. I'm Greg Kasavin. This is your one-stop source for CNC tips, tricks, and secrets. Each month, I'll interrogate fellow developers to bring you killer strategies for amateurs and pros alike. Even if you're a top-ranked player, you'll want to hear these strats and techniques. After all, your opponents are going to be watching. First, build a power plant, then a barracks so you can grab any tib spikes on the map. Next, drop a refinery, and then your crane. In your first queue, build a power plant, then a refinery, and in your second queue, another refinery. With 3 refineries placed, build a war factory and start amassing your army. Don't forget about infantry and base defenses. Then build 2 more refineries and a second war factory. At 5 refineries, 2 war factories, and a barracks, you're off to a great start.
It's the best way to stay on top of your game.
Kane lives, and he's here in studio. What earth-shattering surprises does the C&C dev team have up its sleeve? This is your new home for exclusive celebrity interviews, official C&C news, and the greatest fan matches ever seen on the web. Battlecast Primetime, August 14th.
It's the best way to stay on top of your game.
You're watching Battlecast Primetime on the debut of Command & Conquer TV. Kane lives, and he's here in studio. What juicy tidbits can we get out of actor Joe Kukin on the making of Command & Conquer 3? Speaking of juicy tidbits, what earth-shattering surprises does the C&C dev team have up its sleeve? Plus, the main event. Two top commanders in the C&C3 ladder face off in our very first Battlecast Primetime match. So how come one player's already talking revenge? Stay tuned. This is your new home for exclusive celebrity interviews, official C&C news, and the greatest fan matches ever seen on the web. Battlecast Primetime starts now. You're logged in to Battlecast Primetime alongside my friend Raj Joshi. I'm David Silverman. It's been more than a decade since the first Command & Conquer was released, and we fully realized that the franchise couldn't have been such a runaway success if it wasn't for you, the fiercely loyal fans.
That's why Battlecast Primetime was created. It's a tribute and a showcase for the folks who actually play the game and make C&C the worldwide sensation it is today.
Here's how it works. From deep within the bowels of the Battlecast Primetime Command Center, we scope out all the online action that's being uploaded to the web using the new C&C3 Battlecast feature. This is the option that allows players to broadcast their matches for others to see, either live or on replay.
We look for the most exciting and creative matches we can find, then we show them to you here, complete with play-by-play, player interviews, and strategic breakdowns.
It's a great way to learn more about the nuances of Command & Conquer 3, improve your battle strategies, and perhaps even get you and your match on this program.
Battlecast Primetime viewers will also get the latest news on patches, upgrades, and other cool stuff, plus tips, tricks, and secrets from the folks who actually make the game here at EA.
Yes, it's all about community camaraderie and blowing each other to smithereens. So in that spirit of brotherhood, let's turn to community manager Aaron APOC Kaufman with the latest news by the fans for the fans in APOC's Community Corner.
What's up, all you Command & Conquerors? If you haven't seen me lately in EGM magazine, wearing a sombrero, riding a scooter, or impersonating David Hasselhoff with our fans in Germany, I love you guys, by the way. Well, then hopefully you'll get used to seeing me now in my new pimped out, swagged out C&C corner right here. We're now 4 months past the launch of C&C3. Over 5 million online games have been served, and we're just getting started. All you mothership lovers out there, and I know who you guys are, we're getting ready to fire our own Catalyst cannon right back at you with the upcoming launch of patch 1.07. Turned around in no less than 15 days, 360 hours, and 21,600 minutes since patch 1.06 released. So far, patch 1.07 will introduce a number of critical balance changes not limited to, but aimed at stopping scrawny pitbull spammers. Rick Black has no respect for pitbull spammers and defensive structure crawlers. Not to mention giving the Harvesters a slightly better IQ. This patch also fixes a number of technical bugs and sends the Mammoth tanks rolling over some of our better-known cheaters. Look for patch 1.07 soon in August. And if that's not enough, patch 1.07 finally unlocks the creative power of modding in C&C3 with our exclusive Modification Software Developer Kit, aka Mod SDK. This is our developer toolkit that will give you, our creative and talented community, the ability to manipulate and modify a huge portion of our game code and art. This long-awaited Mod SDK will enable all you modders to put those shameless walls in, and when I say shameless, I mean shameless. Creepy-looking Tiberian for all you Tiberian sun lovers out there, and mechs with 8 legs for everybody else. In other words, this powerful mod SDK includes all of our XML files, so you can balance our factions to your liking, updated 3ds Max plugins to create your very own APOC scooter models, bonus points to you guys for that, UI textures to paint the game with your favorite color, pattern, or theme, and a nifty data builder and mod launcher to get your total conversion mod up and running. Hit up our official site for the upcoming total conversion mods that are planned, or visit our friends at www.moddb.com, where you can read about over 30 different mods in the pipeline, all of whom are anxiously awaiting the release of this mod SDK, so they can show Kane how to really take over the universe and not always disappear in a white light. What a coward. Alongside patch 1.07, we're also going to be bringing our first official ladder season for C&C3 to the multiplayer masses. No more will you, Mr. 28,765 on our competitive 1v1 ladder, have to worry about playing games for nothing. If you find yourself in a match against a top-ranked player, you can actually send him packing way down the ladder, maybe even close to your ranks if you defeat him, and likely find yourself moving up more than a few thousand spots. Keep your eyes peeled on our official site at www.commandandconquer.com. So before I squeeze out of this corner, pay attention to these quick community bites. The community's largest C&C3 mapping competition in its 4th run, Open Map Competition, has just received a frackin' huge ELA C&C development team Tesla Bolt sponsorship in the arm, sure to ignite exciting tremors in the community. But you're gonna have to hit our message boards after watching this show to find out what the winners of the competition will receive from us here at EA. Enter now at www.cncommunity.net. After 3+ years in the making and one hell of an all-star mod team, C&C All-Stars, a total conversion mod for Command & Conquer General's 0 Hour, has been released. This mod aims to bring the greatest units, greatest structures, greatest gameplay ideas, and the greatest moments from C&C games into one spanking awesome total conversion mod. 0 Hour owners get this now at www.cncgeneralsworld.com. And yes, one more thing, mark this date down. Come join me, APOC, August 23rd to the 25th, along with select members of the C&C development team at the Leipzig Games Convention in, you guessed it, Leipzig, Germany. Need I say, our development team has a history of making a big splash at this event, and this year is going to be no less. Well, that's all I got for you guys right now. This has been APOC's Community Corner, and remember, every day is Community Day. Back to you, Dave and Raj.
Thanks, APOC. Now stay tuned for our inaugural Battlecast match, featuring 2 commanders known as Pillbots and Apollo. They're from opposite sides of the Atlantic, but both in the top 1% on the 1v1 ladder. And they'll be tearing it up on the new map, Tournament Rift, very soon.
And these 2 veteran warriors have more than pride at stake, Raj. They've met before, and this time it's about revenge. For more background on our featured match and our players, let's go through the eyes.
Let's take a look at our first commander, Pillbots, aka Timothy White. Born in 1988 in Minneapolis, Minnesota, currently resides in Yorktown, Indiana. Pillbots first started playing C&C about 9 years ago on the original version, and now has worked his way up through the C&C boards to become one of the elite players of the game. He enjoys playing sports, especially basketball, and plans to start college next year to study computer science. As an indication of his C&C playing style, Bots prefers to build castles rather than knock them down. He likes to play as GDI because he prefers to be the good guy. His advice for others who want to win their way into the top 1%? Don't be afraid to play the best. Playing the best will help you become the best. And when asked if he thought Kane was evil, he replied, "No, Kane is a man." Interesting response for a GDI supporter.
Indeed. Now let's get a profile on our other commander, Apollo, aka Sean Clark. Born in 1989 in Staffordshire, England, he currently commands his forces from his home in Wales. Apollo began playing C&C at the tender age of 6, starting with Red Alert on the PlayStation 1, and it has been his passion ever since. He's an avid gamer and plans on attending college this fall to study media, computer technology, and game design. Apollo also thinks of himself as a castle builder versus a destroyer, yet he likes to play as the Scrin. He says that's because they're a bit of an underdog faction, and well, to be honest, he likes being the underdog. His advice for new players is to watch what the best players do, but don't just copy their tactics blindly. Instead, analyze what they do to win and why. Then apply it to your own style.
Sound advice for sure.
Now let's take a look at what happened last time these 2 met on the battlefield. And it's off to the races. Out of the gates, both Bots, GDI, and Apollo Scrin appear to be taking a page out of the Jerry Maguire book, going for the show me the money play with immediate moves to create expansion bases to the south. In the early game, Apollo gets nasty, throws down a lightning spike in Bots' expansion base and a stasis field in his main base.
rendering 2 of Bots' refineries inactive for a much-needed 30 seconds. 30 seconds? Might not seem like much, but early in the game, they can be a real difference maker, and the 2 Guardian cannons Bots is now forced to build doesn't help either. The first punch goes to Bots, who discovers Apollo's unconventional strategy of building his base in a straight line. As Apollo quickly creeps to the middle Tiberium field, Bots heads him off at the pass with his own base creep. Biggest difference here, though, is that Apollo is building necessary structures to get to the center, while Bots is getting a little too refinery happy, and at 2 Gs a pop, that's an expensive move. While these 2 slug it out for the center, Apollo takes his Storm Riders and goes after Bots' corner expansion base, brilliantly targeting the Harvesters. And that right there, folks, is the mark of a real pro. It's all about the Benjamins, people. Bots caught up in the center action never sees that happen and leaves his expansion base functioning at 30% as we go to the final push. Bots, starving for cash, realizes that the blue Tiberium field in the south is his only hope for salvation. He decides to make one last play and takes all his forces south to secure this field. Apollo, appearing to have eyes everywhere, sees this coming and instantly starts throwing down defenses and readies another nasty tactic. Apollo moves a mastermind down to the blue field, where he'll execute a variation of the classic capture and sell maneuver, capturing the refinery and then immediately selling it, denying Bots any chance to get it back. Bots now no choice but to retreat back north, except here he'll fall victim to a classic naval maneuver called crossing the T, where he'll get picked apart piece by piece. After that, it was all over but the crime.
And that's what makes today's rematch so intriguing. It was obvious from his posts on the C&C message boards that Bots had some regrets about how he played and wants another shot at Apollo.
However, before we get to that historic rematch, we've got another slice of history to serve up, our first commercial break. When we return, the big battle of Bots versus Apollo, plus huge news from the C&C development team that will delight Kane fans everywhere. And speaking of the Dark Messiah, the man himself, actor Joe Kukin, will be in studio to discuss all things C&C when Battlecast Primetime returns on Command & Conquer TV.
If you gotta get in the game, you gotta get with the family. Homer, Marge, Lisa, and Bart.
Don't you understand, son? Your whole life it's been a video game.
This fall, roll with your homies.
Cool. I start this riot in the name of decency.
Game over, man. Game over. The Simpsons Game. Coming this fall to every platform ever made. Whatever.
Shh. Welcome back to Battlecast Primetime. Coming up in mere moments, our feature match pitting 2 top commanders in the C&C3 ladder, plus our exclusive interview with the possibly evil, but definitely hairless mastermind that is Kane. But first, let's take a look at what's new in the C&C universe from the front.
Want to enjoy the matches on Battlecast but don't own C&C3 yet? Well, we feel your pain. So coming soon, EA will release the official Battlecast viewer. This free application will allow anyone in the world to watch C&C replays, even if they don't own the game. You'll be able to download the viewer only at commandandconquer.com. Stay tuned for more details on its release, or just buy the game, you freeloaders!
Earlier this month, a mysterious screenshot appeared on the official website for Command & Conquer 3, its origins unknown. Speculation started emerging as to whether or not it was an image from a future C&C game or a work-in-progress shot from C&C3. The only thing for sure came in the form of small text that read C&CX Radial Test. EA has yet to comment on the true nature of this screenshot, and, well, they still aren't talking. It's been 3 months since the release of Command & Conquer 3 Tiberium Wars, and fans have eagerly been asking what's next. So Raj, what's next?
Ixnay on the Xnay, our strict non-disclosure rules. If we tell him, we have to kill him.
Ah, Raj, we don't do that anymore. Charlie, he was an accident.
Are you sure?
I think so.
Okay, but you're taking all the fun out of it. All right, so the big news, remember that mysterious screenshot David was referring to earlier? We now know the source. Today, EA is announcing the first official expansion pack to Command & Conquer 3 Tiberium Wars. Shipping early 2008, this expansion is all about everyone's favorite villain, Kane. With a brand new campaign that follows his rise back to power after the Second Tiberium War and continues all the way through C&C3 and beyond. Producer Jim Vasella is on hand via satellite to provide some more details. Hi, Jim.
Hey Raj, so we're very excited to finally be announcing the first expansion pack for C&C3, Command & Conquer 3, Kane's Wrath. Now as the title suggests, Kane's Wrath is all about Kane and the rise of Nod following the Second Tiberian War, taking the player also through the Third Tiberian War and beyond in the storyline. The game and the campaign will feature our high-definition, live-action cinematics once again, and of course, feature Joe Kukin reprising his role as Kane. And we'll also be introducing a few new characters for him to mingle with. Now, one of the core features of this game is the global domination metagame. Imagine a game like Risk but on steroids, supporting the C&C fiction with ion cannons, nukes, mammoth tanks, as you move your armies around the entire world. And when armies collide, you'll jump down into that fast and fluid C&C gameplay that you know and love. When you come out, those units and armies will persist, allowing for a longer, more global campaign. And if it is new units and faction content that you desire, we are not going to disappoint. We'll have new units, upgrades, powers, structures for each of the core factions. And each faction will also have 2 sub-factions. These sub-factions will also come with their own modified units, unique powers and upgrades. And each one will cater to a specific playstyle, allowing players to really find the side that's best for them. So we think players are really going to grasp on to a certain side that fits exactly the way they want to play. These sub-factions and new faction content are really going to mix up the online play, of which we'll also be adding over 24 new multiplayer maps. Now, all of this content will also be available for the Xbox 360, which will release simultaneously with the PC version. But the 360 players are going to receive something very special. You may have seen a few weeks ago that a certain screenshot was leaked on our forums. Now, I assure you, the spy has been dealt with, but the screenshot did feature one of our brand new innovations, the radial interface. This radial interface allows exponentially more speed and power to the user when they're managing their build queues. It allows them to manage their base from anywhere on the map. You never have to go back. It's one of the key points of the PC that we're bringing over to the console. This is the team that pioneered RTS on console. This is our next innovation, and we really think it's going to revolutionize RTS on console yet again. We've been really listening to the fans. We've been looking at the forums. We want to implement as much of your ideas as possible. We've been doing it all throughout development on this expansion pack. We really think that the fans are going to love it when Command & Conquer 3, Kane's Wrath, ships in early 2008.
Thanks, Jim. But I have a feeling that for Kane fans, early 08 won't come early enough. But don't despair, because right now we have the perverse pleasure of welcoming the evil leader of the Brotherhood himself to our studio.
Evil? Or perhaps just misunderstood. Let's find out. Joe Kukin, welcome to Battlecast Primetime.
Howdy. Hi, everybody. How's it going, Dave?
Doing well. Doing all right. It's been 8 years since Command & Conquer 2, Tiberian Sun.
Really? 8 years?
8 years. Can you believe that?
It doesn't seem realistic.
Yeah. Now we're back to Command & Conquer 3. What's it like to be back in the saddle again?
I have never been happier in my life. I'm having a lot of fun. What's not to like? I get to rule over armies that try and take over the world. I am the penultimate megalomaniac. What is not to like?
Did you find that when you were growing up, you thought to yourself, man, when I grow up, I want to be the maniacal leader of a fanatical religious terrorist organization?
Yeah, when I was playing in my sandbox and trying to get all the other kids to shave their heads, little did I know that it would be me. No, you know, it's not the box that you check off on the application. Yeah, exactly. When you go in to see the career counselor in high school, it's not one of the boxes listed. But
right next to farmer, terrorist leader.
Yeah, I don't like to use the word terrorist. These are tough. Well, these are interesting times.
You're right.
And to argue the case for a charismatic terrorist leader of a quasi-religious organization can get you into a lot of trouble. And I wouldn't want to broach that subject, to tell you the truth. I'm just saying.
Speaking of which, how did you get the role of Kane?
Crackerjack box. I swear to Crackerjack box. You know, I'm going through the pop top. I open up and you eat. You know, you eat as much as you can. But you dig out the little prize and I ripped it open and the role of Kane was in there. I had no idea.
Did you have any apprehensions about coming back and reliving the life of Kane?
The fun part about it is that it's a type of acting that is so ultra dramatic and big that it's just impossible not to have a good time. I mean, you take it seriously, but because there's so much to do, there's so much raw drama and raw emotion to play with. It's just, we had a good time. It was a lot of fun. I was excited to work with anybody who came into these projects excited to work on them. And you have to admit, there's some actors who kind of come in, they look at the sets, they look at the costumes, they look at the green screens, they look at the scripts, and they think, what have I done to my career? Seriously. But some come in.
You're saying it's a step back?
No, I'm not saying it's a step back at all. But I'm saying that
movies, TV, video games.
I'm saying that it can be viewed as sort of a type of shoebox acting. It's different from. It's not Shakespeare in the Park, kids. Let's face it. I think that it's always refreshing to see the actors who come in see it for what it is. See it as a brave new world of storytelling. Sure. See it as an exciting way to connect with a whole new audience in a whole new way, and to really do some, just fun acting. It really can be a lot of fun. I try to have fun. So I'm always excited to work with actors who are smart enough to see that right away. And for me, I've been lucky enough that that's been the majority of everyone that I've ever worked with. They've come in and have really sort of embraced the work, taken it very seriously, but saw right away that it was an opportunity to have a good time.
Joe Coogan, thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule of merciless destruction to be with us today.
Yeah, busy schedule. This has all been pretty cool. You guys are doing really good stuff here.
You know what else is pretty cool? Check this out. Dun da da!
No way! Oh, how cool is... You guys have got to buy these. These are really stinking cool. This is the coolest thing ever. Oh man, this is great. I could not be happier.
Well, that's right, folks. The brand new Kane bobblehead. Lifelike, stylish, hand-painted, and made out of 100% non-edible materials. And look, it even talks. The new Kane bobblehead available at the C&C store later this fall. Joe, on behalf of Battlecast Primetime, allow me to present this to you as a token of our appreciation.
I'd like to thank the Academy. I truly appreciate this. Seriously, I'm really grateful. This is really, really cool. I should make you an honorary member of the Brotherhood or something.
Are you serious? That would be huge.
You're in. That's all I tell you. You're in. Well done.
Thank you so much, Joe. And do you think maybe you could stick around later and commentate on the match as Kane? Give us Kane's perspective?
Yeah. Me and Little Kane will be here. Can we stay, Little Kane? Oh, yes, we can stay. Yes, we can. Well, if he says we can, we can.
Can I become an honorary member of the Brotherhood?
No.
But I let you sit in my chair.
Yeah, thanks. No.
Well, stay tuned, folks. Coming up after the break, the Battle Royale, the rematch of the Millennium, the fight for your right to Tiberium. Yes, it's Bots versus Apollo with commentary from Kane and Little Kane himself.
Right. Stick around to watch. Stick around. That's right. Stick around. Yes.
Live from our studio when Battlecast Primetime continues on Command & Conquer TV. Welcome back. The time has finally come to turn our attention to our very first Battlecast Primetime match, which today, Raj, features a rematch between two of our top commanders from the C&C3 ladder, Bots versus Apollo.
And this time it looks like Bots will be playing as the Brotherhood of Nod, and Apollo will be playing as GDI. It'll be interesting to see if this change of faction will alter Pillbots' overall strategy from the last match.
Well, you know, Nod is more ruthless.
Agreed. As we mentioned earlier, this match, like all matches featured on Battlecast Primetime, come directly from you, the CNC player. Just make sure to check the Battlecast option when you set up your match to broadcast your next battle online. If it turns into an awesome spectacle of destruction, you might find yourself featured in an upcoming episode.
Now for more detailed analysis of today's match and the two commanders who will be duking it out, let's bring in our play-by-play team, CNC developers, Greg Black and Jason Bender. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thanks, David.
Great to be here. Can't wait to see this match.
Yeah, it seems like tonight's match is going to be a real edge to it, with Pillbots looking for redemption from his previous loss.
Well, guys, let's get into it, starting with your analysis of each commander's playing style.
Well, last time, Apollo used the screen to take the center of the field with a spider creep. So that worked out really well for him. He never likes giving up the middle of the field, so look for him to set up camp there again.
Yeah, and I think Pillbots, he's a traditionalist. He's going to be building lots of units. He's going to be rushing. He's going to be trying to micromanage the hell out of them. And he's just going to be hitting Apollo head on over and over again, trying to knock him off of that perch.
Well, now that we know what the playing styles are like, let's take a look at the map with some battleground reconnaissance. Boys?
Tournament Rift, a 1v1 ranked map with starting points in the upper left and upper right. Due south of each starting position, there's an expansion Tiberium field, and slightly closer to the center, each player has an easy tip spike. There are 2 more tip spikes in the bottom center of the map. Expect to see some early contention here. The other side of the map is an exact mirror. Players can go the safe route and expand south to their protected tip field, or head over to the top of the map and fight over the green Tiberium field halfway between the 2 bases. It's hard to hold on to, but whoever holds it definitely has an offensive edge and a defensive buffer. Due south is the impassable rift this map is named for, and below that is a blue Tiberium field. It starts out small, but it expands throughout the match, and could become more important late game, especially if the other fields dry up.
And now it's time for our legendary pre-match feature, the pick of the game. So Greg, let's start with you. Who's going to win and why?
I'm going to have to give this one to Pillbots. You know, he's tan, he's rested, he's ready, he's got something to prove. I think, you know, he hates losing, and he's going to really bring the pressure this time.
All right, Jason, batter up. What's your pick?
Well, in this map, everything hinges on one single Tiberium field, and that plays to Apollo's strength, so I'm going to go with Apollo.
And Raj, I don't want to leave you out of the party. Who's your pick and why?
Well, I gotta say, all strategy and gameplay aside, I'm gonna have to go with Pillbots. Reason being, as we all know, history has shown us that Apollo Creed does lose in the end.
Cuts me deep, buddy. I'm actually going for Apollo for that very reason. Apollo's got heart. He's got the eye of the tiger. There is no tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So there you have it. We are split down the middle. When we return, Vengeance Thy Name is Command & Conquer 3, the rematch of Apollo vs. Bots. Plus, Joe Coogan will weigh in on the outcome when Battlecast Primetime continues on Command & Conquer TV.
Commander, General Jack Granger, good to have you on board. These are interesting times.
If Nod wants a war, let's give them one.
Now, despite rumors of Kane's death, the Brotherhood remains stronger than ever. Our commitment to Tiberium undying.
It's an exciting time to be Nod. Transformation is coming. A new day will dawn. The future is ours.
Welcome back to Battlecast Primetime, and as you can see, we're ready to rumble with our very first featured match, Pillbots versus Apollo.
And standing by for the play-by-play are C&C developers Jason Bender and Greg Black.
Gentlemen, let the battle begin. Today's match, Pillbots playing as the Brotherhood of Nod versus Apollo playing as GDI on Tournament Rift.
So last time we saw these two guys play, Apollo was playing a scrin, and he managed to creep into the middle of the field using a very aggressive building strategy.
I think this time he's actually gone with just a pure surveyor charge to the center, and he's setting up that base there, wanting to keep control of that green Tiberium field. It looks like Pillbots decided to go for the tip spikes instead, and I don't know how that's going to work out for him.
Well, the one good thing is that the other guy's going to have to make an effort. Apollo's going to have to make an effort because he put a couple of troops in garrison buildings to keep off any odd engineer that runs by. On the other hand, Bots does have a few tanks where we don't see any tanks from Apollo right now, so he definitely has the first blood potential here.
So Apollo doesn't have any tanks, but he does have a war factory right on the edge of that green Tiberium field, and I mean that means he can basically get reinforcements in there immediately. There's a barracks, so he's just going to fortify this and keep pumping units out of it.
So we've got 4 Scorpions who are kind of going back and forth, not concentrating on any particular target. They've been chasing that harvester around a little bit, but they haven't knocked it out yet.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Apollo is somehow managing to heal his guy up because that war factory's right there or something. It seems odd to me that Pillbots hasn't been able to take out that harvester yet.
Well, he is doing loops around it, so he is going to get the benefit of getting healed. On the other hand, really, he's not making a concerted effort to chase it. He's got missile troops standing in the Tiberium field.
That's never good.
So what we have from Apollo now, pressing the advantage of having buildings here, he has built a base defense to take out those tanks. He's got a cannon, a Guardian cannon up. The Scorpions still not concentrating their fire very effectively, and now what's he doing? He's repairing the structure that they were attacking. So
Pillbots has got to muster up a big army, and he's got to go take that base out, or you know, Apollo is spending a lot of his resources, a lot of his effort and attention taking that center field. It's possible that his main base isn't well defended. He may try some sort of sneaky commando attack, engineers, things of that nature. But I think right now he's just going to focus on lots of Scorpion tanks, trying to break that foothold that Apollo's got in the middle of the base.
But why is he pulling out? Looks like he has a reason here.
Yeah, we've got some reinforcements dropping in. I'm guessing those are going to be infantry, probably rifle guys and rocket guys, and he wants to kill those planes while they're landing before the infantry gets out.
Yeah.
Got one of them, didn't get enough of them, and
but now he's retreating. I mean, he should be running those guys over, right?
Yeah, that's an excellent point. I'm not quite sure why he's retreating. I think he feels like he's on the defensive. Doesn't quite have the confidence to move forward and really push it, which is what he needs to be doing.
So, but here we have something different happening. Bots is doing a good job now. He built up a base defense, shredder turrets to take out the enemy infantry, which was going to be a factor against the Scorpions.
Yeah, that's strong. I mean, you can see all those missiles firing from Apollo's base. Those are really going to hurt his Scorpion tanks, and those shredder turrets may be the thing he needs to hold those missile guys off.
You have to figure Apollo's got his queues building up with a lot of base defenses right now, and he's just waiting to drop them. I mean, he's got a second war factory, so he's got double duty going on as far as pumping out armor to get into the front line. So we have a flame tank here, which is retreating, but it didn't look like it was able to
that didn't last
much.
very long,
yeah.
did it? And not seeing a whole lot going on at Pillbot's base. It looks like Apollo's starting to move in for the kill.
Look at that. He took out that air tower. That's a costly loss. I mean, he wiped out the defenses, and now he's rolling in with a pretty significant armor force. There's like a flame tank showing up, but that's not going to do much.
Yeah, flame tank against the armor force. I guess he's building them to try and take out the infantry, but again, it just looks too little, too late on Pillbot's part.
Absolutely. He was about a minute and a half behind on that. If he could have gotten that in a little bit earlier and gotten it in against the structures and the infantry, it would have been a good call. Also, an obelisk just now.
Yeah, just went up, immediately got sold. Not a good sign for Pillbots. You know, when those obelisks are being popped up at your base while the enemy's there, maybe too late.
Yeah, so the obelisks tend to be a good option when you're prepared and you know where they're coming from and you've got some armor to absorb the hits so the obelisk doesn't get knocked out. But in this case, the obelisk just was the only thing standing there and it got blown up instantly by predators.
Yeah, it really doesn't have that sort of first strike devastating capability that, say, a sonic emitter has or even a storm column. You really got to have those things ready in advance.
So now Pillbots has his back to the wall here. He's got an avatar up, which is going to help against those predators. He's got a lot of missile troopers. Great job. And now here's another obelisk, which might survive a little bit longer if he's lucky, since the predators are now are diminished in their numbers. So Pillbots might have been thinking back to their previous match, where when Apollo was playing Scrin, he did that spider tactic all the way out to the middle, and he principally used gravity stabilizers to get out there, which is the airfield for the Scrin. So he got all the way out there doing that, and then he was able to deploy aircraft right into the front line.
So are you thinking that, I mean, maybe Pillbots thought that that's what Apollo was going to do this time, thought he had a little more time to get that center green field, which is why he was sort of slow on the attack?
Yeah, another thing that you can do when someone spiders out like that, the tentacle tactic, you can cut it off. You can kind of come back in, you can cut it off, and you can pincer it, and then that thing gets cut off pretty easily. Apollo switched it up this time by getting in there and fortifying his front line. It was funny because he was late on vehicles, but now it's paid off because he's moving into mammoths now in the late game. He's got a sonic emitter that's just out of range of that obelisk, so we have a no man's land in the middle that's just covered in craters.
Yeah, you can just see, you move guys out there, that sonic emitter or the obelisk is just going to eat them up. So somebody's going to sit back, muster up a big force, and then just power their way through it.
Here we go. This is a big problem. We've got a couple of mammoths moving up. So there's only 4 mammoths, but 4 mammoths is equal to a whole bunch more as far as armor and hit points go.
Yeah, and the mammoth taking some damage from the avatar of the Scorpions and that obelisk is starting to retreat. Looks like Apollo is trying to pull Pillbots into his no man's land to get that sonic emitter firing on him and get those rockets and the railguns from the mammoth.
Well, that seems to be working. That sonic emitter just did some horrific damage to that group of units there. These avatars are getting left out on the field, pretty much alone. There goes one. I mean, he's going to need a saboteur to go back in there and pick that sucker up.
Yeah, and hopefully Apollo won't do it first. That's going to be real depressing when you see your own avatars taking out your own base.
We haven't seen too many engineers up in this territory. There hasn't been much of a reason up to now to do it, but I think now that the bases are a little bit exposed and the battle is raging, I'm hoping to see much more in the way of engineers and saboteurs.
And look at this, we got zone troopers on the map, we have sonic emitters, we've got avatars, we've got mammoth tanks. This is clearly a tier 3 battle. And
Juggernauts, check this out. We got the Orca Strike coming in to knock out that base defense. Great job. So Apollo just put it on full steam. He's calling in support powers in the form of reinforcements, Orca Strikes, which pretty much means that Pillbots is going to have to pull out a lot of different counters, and he doesn't have the money to do that.
Yeah, I can't imagine that he does. I mean, the only thing he's got going for him right now is that heroic missile squad there blinking away, and it looks like those zone troopers are going to deal with them shortly.
So there's a commando from Pillbots.
Ooh, commando. So this is what I was talking about earlier. You know, I can't imagine that Apollo's base is too heavily defended. He can't be paying too much attention to it. So maybe if he can get that commando in there, do some damage, take out his MCV even.
And we have some snipers here plinking off the few infantry that Pillbots does have. Now he's got some vertigo bombers. So that commando, we can kind of assume it's going to go maybe right through the middle of the map, take out the blue Tiberium field, and then maybe try to go for the main base after that.
Yeah, quite possibly. Who knows? I think that's an awful lot to ask from a single commando. It's good that he's doing it, but again, I hate to keep repeating this. Too little, too late. He should have been doing this 5 minutes ago.
But I mean, he's had a lot on his plate to deal with. To his credit, he's been keeping his base alive for a long time.
That's true. With the way this game has been going, I would have expected Pillbots to be out of it a lot earlier, and he has just been, holding his ground as much as possible, but, he's losing that long-term economic battle. And this is looking real bad. That MCV is about to go down, that Conyard.
Yeah, losing your Conyard is really just like getting your heart pulled out here. So Apollo's coming in and just delivering the death blow here, but to Apollo's credit too, Pillbots was somebody that came here to win. He fought to the bitter end, but Apollo was able to sort of beat him at every turn, and really a hard-fought, well-earned victory on Apollo's part and a well-played defense on Pillbots' part. Absolutely, props to both these guys for making a great showing of GDI and Nod's strategy here.
Good game.
Well, looks like Bots just couldn't get it together.
It seems that way. Apollo took hold of the center early on, and Bots made some valiant attempts to try and take it over, but in the end just couldn't deliver.
All right, so let's now break it down, beginning with the analysis of the game stats, which, by the way, is a function of Command & Conquer 3 that all players can enjoy. So let's take a look now.
All right, let's start by looking at the resource graph. I mean, this is really important. You can see here at about the 4-minute mark, that's where Apollo's economy really starts to pull ahead of Pillbots, and that's really what won him the game over the long term.
So when you move over to the structures chart, you can see a few different things. First of all, you can see that at the 4-minute mark, this is when the battle really goes south for Pillbots, but he still holds in. Looking along this flat line, you can see that he did a great job of keeping his base together, even though he was at a deficit on resources and was getting attacked constantly.
And taking a look at the units graph, there are a couple interesting things to take note of. First of all, again, at the 4-minute mark, this is where Pillbots first tried to attack Apollo's second base and wasn't really able to succeed. And then if we look a little further, about the 9-10 minute mark, this is when Apollo really stuck it to Pillbots. This is when he built up his massive force, threw it at Pillbots' base, and really sort of won the game.
Right here in the middle, though, there's a little bit of a telling stat. Right in the center, it looks like Pillbots is pulling ahead in units. That's because he was not giving up the fight. He was doing a good job of keeping units on the field, repelling attacks on his base, and he did a great job of staying in the fight long after he lost the center.
And considering that, the game really started to unravel for Pillbots, between about the 5 and 10 minute mark, he hung in there for a really long time.
And guys, do you think there was a key turning point in this match?
Well, it looks to me like the key turning point came when Pillbots tried to dislodge Apollo right at the very beginning of the match, and he was repelled not once but twice. From there, it was kind of all downhill.
Well, that leads us to our play of the match. Gentlemen, what's the verdict?
I'd have to give the play of the match to Apollo for his final assault on Pillbots' base. He just threw everything and the kitchen sink at Pillbots. He had mammoth tanks, he had zone troopers, he was calling in shockwave artillery, he was calling in reinforcements, he had snipers. I mean, he threw everything he had and Pillbots just couldn't handle it.
Congrats to Apollo for winning the match and for the play of the game. And thanks to Jason Bender and Greg Black for their excellent analysis.
Thanks for having us.
See you next time.
And Kane, what did you think of the outcome of today's match between GDI versus Nod?
Oh, we shall have our vengeance. GDI will be ground beneath the heel of the Brotherhood. I cannot be destroyed! I am immortal! Alright, peace to power, kids. I'm out of here.
Kane, is there any way I can become part of the Brotherhood? He's gone.
Well, that brings us to the end of our first show, and what a show it was.
I'll say, big news about the new expansion pack, big battle action with tonight's matchup of C&C Titans.
And of course, the biggest of stars with Joe Kukin himself here in the studio, dropping by for a visit.
Remember, Battlecast Primetime is your source for official news on the downloadable Battlecast viewer and the new expansion pack. So check back next time for more details.
And don't forget to Battlecast your next match for a shot to be featured here on Battlecast Primetime. For Raj Joshi, I'm David Silverman, and we'll see you on the battlefield. Good job, Raj. watching Battlecast Primetime on Command & Conquer TV. APOC breaks out of his corner and invades Leipzig, Germany. Find out what happens behind closed doors at the massive games convention. Buy. It's time to sell gold and stock up on Tiberium. Hear why the green crystals become even more sacred in patch 1.09. Plus, what happened in the 16 years between Firestorm and C&C3? Kane's Wrath designer Sam Bass has all the answers. And was your match good enough to make the Battlecast 5? Battlecast Primetime starts now. You're logged in to Battlecast Primetime. He's Raj Joshi. I'm David Silverman.
Battlecast Primetime is your official home for exclusive celebrity interviews, official C&C news, and the greatest fan matches on the web.
Before we get things going, we wanted to thank everyone who watched last month's debut episode.
The response was overwhelmingly positive. Your posts were great, and we welcome your suggestions to make the show better, as long as it doesn't include shaving my head. Or anything else.
Well, your hair last episode did draw some attention. However, there was one repeated request we immediately took to heart: more Battlecast action. We heard your cries for conflict, so starting this episode, we'll feature highlights from the top 5 matches for a new segment we call the Battlecast 5.
This means up to 10 players who battlecast their match will be highlighted on each show. And from out of these competitors, we select 2 commanders to face off for our feature match.
These 2 play a new series of 5 matches, from which we'll choose the most exciting matches to show, guaranteeing you the best game action possible.
Plus, our feature Battlecast match will also be available in its entirety at www.commandandconquer.com.
So without further delay, let's plunge into our first sampling of the 5. Net puts GDI versus Carrod's Nod on Tournament Arena. Net put races down the tech tree for Orcas, but Carrod one-ups him with a shadow team. It's rockets against lasers for 22 minutes of non-stop carnage, with almost 400 units in play. But it's not just Scorpion spam with Carrod. His Catalyst missiles and the EMP-enabled Raider buggies help him pull off the W.
4.
On Tournament Arena, it's a screen mirror between Kaifire and the Atreides. The Atreides drops a foundry, then moves his drone platform south, harvesting all 3 tip fields right out of the gate. Kaifire, losing the money game, sends in the Mastermind. He grabs a refinery just long enough to throw down a signal transmitter and call a mothership. The Atreides counters with the stasis field, buying him time to mount a defense and finish off the mothership. 20 minutes into the match, and it's game over for Kaifire. Wait, no, what's that in the sky? A bird? A plane? No, it's another mothership. The Atreides failed to take out the signal transmitter. Devastation! With just 1 refinery left, Kaifire gets the win.
3.
Over to Tournament Dust Bowl. Arctic Scrin face off against Liang Hu's GDI. 9 minutes in, and Liang Hu is dominating, with a base creep covering 3 of the 4 Tiberium fields. It doesn't look good for Arctic, but he's not getting cold yet. He's got plan B. A second drone platform at the last open Tiberium field, plus an army of tripods, PACs, and Devastators. Liang Hu's sonic emitters do some huge damage, but they're not enough for Arctic's army of assimilators. Once the tripods march in, it's all Arctic. How do you say come back in Skrinish?
2.
Back to Tournament Arena. It's Dackle against Yama in an explosive Nod face-off. Both drop a crane, then pack up their conyards and head to each other's base. Dackle's a new sheriff in Yama's town. He sells his conyard for a free engineer and grabs a crane. Thank you! While Yama drops a war factory and sends in the flame tanks. Yama rushes with rocket squads, but Dackle wipes them out with the phase field. Yama uses his own phase field on some flame tanks while they both amass a huge Scorpion army. The final push. Dackle kicks it off with the Catalyst missile, taking out 3 refineries and the Scorpions face off. Lasers light up the sky. Yama calls in a mine drop as a last-ditch effort, but it's not enough. Dackle overpowers him.
1.
We've saved the best for last. Dawis's Nod versus Daedalus' Scrin on Small Town, USA. An early Scorpion spam makes a beeline for Daedalus' extractors, but Daedalus says, I don't think so, with a stasis field and 3 photon cannons. Unfazed, Dawis's Nod follows up with a devastating Catalyst missile, but he can't seal the deal. Daedalus sends a Mastermind to Dawis's expansion, using his phase field to bolster his Mastermind's armor. It's almost enough to take out a refinery, but not quite. 13 minutes in and things are looking pretty grim for Daedalus. But wait, what's this? Another mastermind in the North expansion base. And this time he signs the dotted line, cashes the check, breaks out the champagne. Daedalus sells the tech lab for 2,000 credits and drops a signal transmitter. That's right, it's ET phone home as the mothership materializes, and look at that catalyst cannon go. Daedalus sends all the anti-air he's got, but the mothership fires again. Daedalus wipes out every structure in one fell swoop except, one rogue conhyard. Ooh, that's gotta hurt. Daedalus mounts a last stand while his mothership makes a beeline for the conhyard. I think I can. Oh, it's not enough. Daedalus takes it. What a heartbreaker. Just for you, Raj. Let's see that catalyst cannon again. All those hard-earned structures gone in a single blow. That'll teach you to base creep. And there's your Battlecast 5 for this month.
The Fly, brought to you by Medal of Honor Airborne. Heroes jump, enemies fall. Available now on the PC and Xbox 360.
Whoa, that last one was something special. What a great first Battlecast 5. So which two commanders move on to the feature match?
Well, you'll have to stay tuned to find out, like everyone else.
Yeah, right. No, really, who?
When we return, APOC live and on the loose in Leipzig. Plus, we go behind closed doors for exclusive news on the C&C expansion pack and an eye-opening interview with C&C3 designer Sam Bass.
You're not going to tell me, are you?
When Battlecast Primetime continues on Command & Conquer TV. It's a celebrated center of commerce, a European capital of culture, a Deutsche dreamland nestled near the confluence of the Pleiße, Partha, and Weisse Elster rivers.
Ah yes, Leipzig, Germany, nicknamed Little Paris. Leipzig has been home to celebrated historical figures like Bach, Nietzsche, Mendelssohn, Wagner, Lindemann.
Lindemann?
Yeah, Till Lindemann, lead vocalist of the German heavy metal rock band Rammstein. Dude, they are awesome.
I'll stick with Survivor. And now Leipzig can add another notch in its belt of celebrity, as home to one of the biggest game conventions in the world, known aptly as the Games Convention. For more on this event that over 185,000 people witnessed, let's now turn to APOC's Corner.
Welcome back, Commanders and Commandettes. I am APOC, your official Command & Conquer community manager, blowing up and healing our community one step at a time. And speaking of blowing up, we're celebrating the 12th anniversary of Command & Conquer, which was first released, can you believe it, a dozen years ago on August 31st, 1995. 12 years of Tiberium, 12 years of Red Alert, 12 years of Kane, 12 years of one massive fan community, and over 25 million worldwide copies in your hands. Command & Conquer has stood the test of time and become a classic legacy amongst video games' most enduring and successful franchises. I am truly honored to have been your community manager for over 2.5 years of that legacy thus far, and I really appreciate your support and friendship. I'd also like to take a moment now to recognize our longest running fan site, www.cncden.com, commanded by our friendly community leader, Lion, since 1997. As one of our most loyal and respected community leaders, we are awarding you the first ever C&C Community Legacy Achievement Award. Congratulations, Lion. We'll be in touch soon. So now let's get down to business. The first official season for the Command & Conquer League has finally started for our competitive multiplayer 1v1 ladder. The season will go on for 3 months with multiple qualification days for the final championship tournament. The top commander at the end of the season will receive a nice Tiberium colored check for $5,000. We also have more cash prizes and goodies sponsored by our friends at Logitech to give away an award to the runner-ups and other lucky players on our ladder. To enter the ladder season, all you need to do is log online to C&C3, play a ranked match on our 1v1 ladder, win, don't cheat or disconnect if you lose, and most of all, keep playing. The more games you play, the better chance you have to move up the ladder and qualify for the season-ending tournament. For more info, head over to our new C&C3 League section on our official site at commandandconquer.com. The Modest Decay has now been officially released, and if you haven't heard, we've already released an updated version which addresses various technical improvements and more information and art assets so you can really maximize your mods. C&C mods on the horizon and already making our highlight reel include a huge dose of nostalgia with Tiberian Sun Rising, a mod which aims to recreate Tiberian Sun for C&C3, and Red Alert Revolution, a reimagination of Red Alert 1 and 2. Hit up the video section of cncnz.com and check out Tiberium Legos, and be sure to head over to our official site where I spoke to the mysterious hypnotist about the series. And last but definitely not least, we recently spent a week at the awesome games convention in Leipzig, Germany to meet with the hordes and masses of Command & Conquer fans and to debut the upcoming expansion pack, Command & Conquer 3 Kane's Wrath. This was our third consecutive year there, and while a lot of the focus is on the games, it's also about the game playing community. So follow me through the magic of video as I explore the German Games Convention, including a look at how passionate and influential the German Command & Conquer community is. Hit up commandandconquer.com for an in-depth look at the German C&C community. Are you Kane's biggest fan?
Yes! Can I get a peace through power? Peace through power!
That's not permanent.
What's your favorite Command & Conquer game?
3. Tiberian Sun.
How cool is this? That's all for now. Tune in for more updates next episode. And remember, every day is Community Day. Back to you, Dave and Raj.
Danke, Apoc. Great stuff. And we're still not done yet. We still have more big news from Leipzig coming up.
But now it's time to turn our attention back to the main event and reveal the two commanders who will be facing off in our featured match.
Keeping with our international theme, both our competitors today come from Central Europe. Dackel, aka Pascal Pfefferly, lives in Freiburg, Germany. His opponent Arctic, known in non-CNC circles as Artem Gabriel, is from the Czech Republic.
You saw their highlights earlier in the 5, and very soon they'll be slugging it out on Tournament Coastline. But first, let's get to know these players a little better as we go through the eyes.
Our first commander, Arctic, aka Artem Gabriel, born in Ukraine in 1986, currently resides in the Czech Republic where he plays C&C3 online as SkyR.Arctic. Artem started playing CNC with Red Alert 2 and says he only picked up Tiberium Wars so he could compete in the World Cyber Games Championships. Offline he plays soccer and practices judo when he's not studying technology at the university in Liberec. He likes to play as Skrin because of their powerful endgame, and his opponents often complain of early seeker harassment. His advice to new players? If you want to be good, you must play actively. Watch replays, study build orders, and don't just camp out at your base.
His opponent, Dackel, aka Pascal Pfefferly, born in 1988 in Freiburg, Germany. He graduates from high school next year and says his dream job might be to pilot for Lufthansa, or, he adds, to work at EALA. Nicknamed Ace Striker by his soccer teammates, Pascal notes that he could play the piano at age 8, a skill that he says makes him a better gamer. Like Artem, he was introduced to the franchise through Red Alert 2. Today he plays as GDI because, quote, I played GDI in the demo and I'm too lazy to learn another faction. A man of my own convictions. His advice to newbies is simple, don't cheat. If you cheat, you've already lost.
An interesting factoid we came across, both Dackel and Arctic independently claim to have created the MCV rush. That's always a bold and exciting play, and I really hope we see it in today's match.
Same here. When we return, though, we take you back to the Games Convention 2007, behind closed doors, at a special press-only event for the new expansion pack. Plus, updates on the World Cyber Games Patch 1.09, and of course, our featured match between two CNC Titans, Dackel and Arctic, when Battlecast Primetime continues on Command & Conquer TV.
If you gotta get in the game, you gotta get with the family. Homer, Marge, Lisa, and Bart.
Don't you understand, son? Your whole life has been a video game.
This fall, roll with your homies.
Cool. I start this riot in the name of decency.
Game over, man. Game over.
game. Coming this fall to every platform ever made.
Whatever!
Shh. Welcome back. I'm Raj Joshi. Ever since the very first electronic game trade show, there have always been those mysterious rooms where the general public could not enter. You know, where all the cool stuff was shown to the industry elite. Well, that all changes today. Battlecast Primetime's own David Silverman attended the Leipzig Games Convention and took us behind closed doors on the new expansion pack. Here's his sneak peek.
Now, as you can see, typically you're not allowed to film back here, but for Battlecast Primetime fans, let's have a sneak peek.
We're doing a lot of cool things in this expansion pack. We're now introducing our Zone Raider. And the Zone Raider comes with shoulder-mounted anti-air rockets, one of our brand new units. This is the GDI Hammerhead gunship. Now, as a hover tank, the anti-air Scout is a bit faster than your average treaded tank like the Predator or the Mammoth. So I won't be able to take in these hammerheads just yet due to those NOD anti-aircraft turrets. I'm going to need something on the ground to take those out. And to do that, we're going to use another one of our brand new units. This is the GDI Shatterer. And we're very happy to introduce one of our brand new NOD units. These are the Awaken. So this is another one of our brand new units. This is the Spectre Artillery. And the really cool thing about these guys is that they're stealth. This is the NOD Reckoner armored personnel carrier. Once I deploy these bunkers, you're going to notice some really cool fireworks. Can't wait to show you more in the upcoming episodes.
If you'd like to see the entire Behind Closed Doors presentation, it's posted at www.battlecastprimetime.com. Welcome back, David. You seem to have made it back in record time.
Well, you know, the whole time zone thing kind of works in your favor coming back. In any event, we'll return to more expansion pack news along with a very special guest in just a few moments. But first, let's take a look at what else is new in the Command & Conquer universe from the front.
All over the country, C&C players are fighting tooth and nail for a spot at the World Cyber Games US Finals in Orlando, Florida. Among those competing was our very own developer, Gavin EA Ender Simon. Battlecast Primetime was there at the Pacific Regional Finals. Gavin sets his sights on SeekerSpam.exe, aka Sean Teeter. Sean kicks it off with 8 refineries and 4 war factories. In a base creep covering 2/3 of the map, it's Pitbull ready for action. Gavin counters with tripods, taking out an early expansion base, but his victory is short-lived as the Mammoth tanks roll out. Gavin loses the series without a single win. After smashing through Gavin, Sean steamrolled the competition at the US Finals in Orlando to clinch a seat in Seattle for the World Cyber Games Grand Finals. We're pulling for you, Sean. Tune in next episode for more on-the-scene World Cyber Games coverage.
Cheap tactics? Your days are numbered. Later this month, EA will be releasing patch 1.09, which includes a host of balance changes that will significantly alter strategies and tactics. EA's top gun, Gavin Simon, is dialed up via satellite, since he has some time, to provide some more details on the patch. Gavin?
Thanks for rubbing it in, David. The biggest change 1.09 brings is the promised retuning of C&C3's economy in an effort to address several concerns that you, the fans, have expressed. Harvesters will now carry 1,400 credits of green Tiberium rather than 2,400 and 2,800 of blue. However, their cycle, the time it takes them to make one round trip between the field and refinery, has been shortened by 8 seconds to create a smoother income. Overall, it's a 35% reduction to Tiberium gathering. This change is designed to accomplish 3 goals. First, with less money in the game, you'll see less unit spam, and with fewer units in play, there will be more of an emphasis on tactical skill and micromanagement. Second, it makes harassment more viable. With harvesters taking longer to return their investment, taking out 2 or 3 of them early on will really hurt your opponent. Finally, with a lowered income rate and that increased emphasis on harassment, teching up will be a more important strategic decision to make, and teching up too soon will put you in a dangerous position, vulnerable to attack. A taste of just a few of the other changes we're making. Artillery for all 3 factions have had their range increased by 25% to help counter those powerful Tier 3 base defenses and let you crack the toughest of turtles. In addition to a slightly longer cooldown, the Skrin Buzzer Swarm can no longer be summoned directly on top of enemy infantry. Plus, Devastator warships have had their damage increased along with a longer reload time and smaller splash damage to reduce their dominance over masses of enemy infantry. Watch out, don't leave those key groups of structures undefended anymore. Commandos have had their post-C4 duck and cover time reduced to just a second and a half. As for the Brotherhood of Nod, well, all I can say is that while you may not see quite as many glowing green rocket squads anymore, you're definitely going to see a lot more avatars and stealth tanks out there on the battlefield. But that's all the information I can divulge for now. However, for the full list of patch notes, head over to commandandconquer.com. My game ID is EADevEnder. Hope to see you online.
Thanks, Gavin.
On August 31st, 1995, the world was changed forever when Command & Conquer released on the PC. In honor of the 12th year anniversary, EA has been launching a month-long campaign celebrating the 12 years of Command & Conquer. Today, EA continues this celebration by launching C&CMovies.com, a site that will contain every FMV cutscene from the original Command & Conquer game through Red Alert 2. Now you can watch Yuri's brain floating in a jar again and again and again and again.
Okay, thanks, Raj. So what happened in the 16 years between Firestorm and C&C3? What was the fate of Cabal? What is the secret to Kane's return? If there's one person who may know the answer to these and other life-altering questions, it's C&C designer Sam Bass. Fortunately, we have him in studio. Sam, welcome to Battlecast Primetime.
Thanks, David.
Are you ready, Sam, to face the firing squad?
Hell yeah.
Sam, before we begin this rapid barrage of questions, let's get to know you a little bit better. I know that you went to UC Santa Barbara to study screenwriting, but since you were 17 years old, you've been involved with games. Why the switch to interactive?
Well, David, while I love the movies, as everyone does, in the end, I think that games are an emerging medium where there are all kinds of new and exciting ways to tell stories, ways that we've never really had before.
Now, speaking of telling stories, I know that you co-wrote the story for Kane's Wrath. In a universe that spans, multiple games, how do you start?
Well, with C&C3, we went back to brass tacks. You got Kane, GDI, Nod, Tiberium. And so here we got a chance with Kane's Wrath to delve a little bit deeper into the canon, into Cabal, into the Tacitus, into the post-Firestorm universe that C&C3 we really just didn't deal with.
It's funny you mentioned the Tacitus. On Battlecast Primetime Aftermath, we actually debuted the trailer that was shown at Leipzig with Kane saying the Tacitus is key. Now, there's a lot of people out there who have no idea what the hell the Tacitus is, so please enlighten us. What is the Tacitus, Sam?
Well, the Tacitus is an ancient alien device. It's commonly known as a data matrix orb. It's kind of a lexicon of knowledge and information. But there's also more to it than that.
Now, while you're on the subject, the silver bullet, why is it key?
Can't tell you that, Dave.
Come on, Sam, you're on the firing squad. Give me something.
You get nothing.
What about Cabal? What's the story with him? Is he in the game?
Cabal was only the beginning.
Anton Slavik?
Well, I can confirm that Anton Slavik, who's the former leader of the Black Hand, will be seen in our game, and that the Black Hand themselves will be one of our sub-factions.
Now, you mentioned sub-factions. There's sub-factions, there's epic units, there's a global conquest mode. With all of this, how is the story told?
Well, we're actually trying to do something a little different, David. Rather than doing the conventional linear narrative campaign, you go from mission to mission, go here, blow this up, we're giving you a global view of the world. And you still have objectives, but which way you go, what you build, which parts of the world you go through, that's all up to you as the player. And no matter what, you'll be rewarded with one of our lovely cinematics.
And those cinematics are still live action, right?
Oh, yeah.
And Kane's coming back?
Oh, yeah, he's back.
And who's with him?
I can't tell you.
Sam Bass, you've survived the firing squad. Here's a t-shirt to commemorate this experience.
Wow, well, it was worth it all for the t-shirt, Dave.
When we return, a truly global main event. Our featured match pitting Dackel versus Arctic, Germany versus the Czech Republic, Nod versus Skrin. Who will reign supreme? Plus, our cameras catch up with Kane on the loose at Leipzig, Germany, when Battlecast Primetime continues on Command & Conquer TV.
Prepare for ascension. Behold, my child, the sweep of history. Cabal was only the beginning.
Welcome back to Battlecast Primetime, and as you can see, we've gone code red, and that can only mean one thing. It's Battlecast time.
And time to welcome in our play-by-play team, C&C developers Greg Black and Jason Bender. Gentlemen, good to see you again.
Thanks, guys.
We're looking forward to another great match.
Did you see our two commanders' earlier campaigns in the Battlecast 5?
Yeah, they were both really impressive victories.
I also like the fact that they both claim to have invented the MCV rush.
With stones like that, we're going to see some seriously bold maneuvers. Expect the unexpected.
Well, speaking of strategies, let's get your analysis of each commander's playing style.
Well, both commanders claim to have invented the MCV rush, so I'm expecting that we're going to see a lot of MCV rushing. Dackle tends to be a little bit further out there, so I think he's really going to push that MCV rush to the limit.
Yeah, Dackle really likes to mix it up in the early game. He's going to rush one way or the other, whether it's MCV or Saboteurs or what have you. On the other hand, Arctic, if he can hold on and survive that initial rush, he's a really good standard player. He'll come in strong in the late game with a big army. So we should look for that.
Now that we've mapped out our two competitors' playing styles, let's map out the terrain with some battleground reconnaissance.
Tournament Coastline is a 1v1 ranked map with starting points in opposite corners. Each player has a protected expansion field on their half of the map, and across this bridge, easy access to a Tiberium spike. Center stage, there are 2 additional expansion tip fields and a number of garrison buildings. With this many structures to grab, most players charge midfield early on. The opposite side of the map is a mirror image. Garrisonable structures are key in this map, and with so much ground to cover, the battles are rarely short.
All right, we know the players, we know the layout. It's time to put our expertise on the line with our Battlecast Primetime pick of the game. So Jason, starting with you, who's going to emerge victorious?
Well, I think by now Arctic has figured out that Dackle is a pretty wild guy in the beginning of the game. He's probably going to hold out against that rush, and if he does that, I think he's got a great chance of winning, so I'll go with Arctic.
Greg, your take.
You know, I got to give it to Dackle. He's got the stats advantage. He's played far more games than Arctic, and he wins 59% of the time versus 57% for Arctic. It's a small difference, but it could make all the difference.
What about you, Raj? Any favorites?
I gotta say, I think that Arctic is gonna put the freeze on Dackle.
Well, for me, the choice seems clear. I read his bio, so I'm kind of biased. I'm gonna go with Dackle. All right, the windows are closed, the wagers are in. Gentlemen, let's rumble. Today's match, Dackle playing as the Brotherhood of Nod versus Arctic playing as Skrin on Tournament Coastline.
And to start off today's battle, we've got Dackle in the southeast corner, going for an early crane build, building a couple power plants, and what's this? Packing up his MCV.
Yeah, so what do you think he's going to do with that? I mean, there are a few tactics you can use when you've got your MCV packed up and on the offense.
Well, he may, try and go capture an early tib field. We can see Arctic here in the northwest corner is going for an early economy boom. He's got those 2 refineries powered down, probably to get those power plants built without suffering the power down penalty.
And look at this, he's bringing up his drone ship.
And here's Dackle's MCV, and wow, look at that decoy army just cast on it.
I like that, actually. That's pretty cool use of the MCV rush. The decoy might run right past this drone ship. They're going to see each other like boats in the night. So it looks like he's trying to draw the defenses away from Arctic's base so that he can draw. You can use the decoy to get, be they scouts or whatever, away from his real base. And looks like the decoy ran out. It expired.
And there we go. There's a single seeker tank, maybe not the best use in the world of an entire MCV decoy.
Oh, a couple of buzzers and another
right.
seeker, but yeah, still not much of a distraction. On the other hand, though, he did build a war factory, and he's packing up again. Where's he going with that thing?
Looks like he's getting ready to head north, maybe over to Arctic space, perhaps? And look at this. Dackle's base just getting annihilated by those seeker tanks. He's losing harvesters right and left.
But here comes the counterattack. So that war factory kicked out a single flame tank, which is all you really need to take out an undefended base.
Oh, these guys are, clearly base screwing each other. They both essentially attacked their starting bases, but their MCVs are out in the field doing God knows what. So this could be anybody's battle right now.
Yeah, he's kind of gone walkabout with that. So now it looks like both of their bases have been significantly damaged, but Arctic is the one that has planted his drone ship and actually put a stake in the ground. He's building up a real base, but there's flame tanks. Those flame tanks have diverted over to the secondary base, the new one.
Now, it looks like that flame tank got a nerve center, which is pretty handy, but those 2 flame tanks are going up against seeker tanks, which means they're not really going to have much of a chance to take out the rest of the base.
Yeah, so it looks like they're going to need some reinforcements, and they're going to get them in the form of...
The Nod MCV is now attacking Arctic's base. This is completely unprecedented, not something you see too often, especially considering how few base buildings he's got on the map.
And you know, seeing as how also that's an unarmed MCV. So what exactly is he going to do with an MCV considering it has no weapon?
Well, he's got a couple of options. He can either plop the thing down, try and build some base defenses, or maybe a barracks. He can sell it, try and get his engineer out of there and take Arctic's drone platform.
So it looks like he's going to go for that saboteur situation where he deploys it, tries to grab the drone platform, and Arctic has one chance here to get out of the way.
And there it goes. He's plopped it down, he sold it, and look at this. The drone platform takes off just in the nick of time, saving Arctic's base.
Well, that saboteur is just leaping up, just out of reach. Now he's getting torched by the seeker tanks. It looks like that was a failed attack, costing an MCV and those 2 flame tanks, which we already knew were going to die. So what's this here?
So it looks like we're seeing Dackle reverting back to basics. Lots of Scorpion tanks being built, getting ready for an old-fashioned tank rush, but.
Yeah, this looks like a legitimate battle finally after running around all day. They've got some tanks on tanks now, and he's got yet another MCV out here walking around.
What? I just can't imagine what he's thinking with all these MCVs. It's crazy.
So it seems like, I mean, if he wants to take another tip field and expand there, that's good. But I mean, he's just walking these suckers around. He's never really settling in, and that's getting him behind in the arms race here.
And you know, we're seeing that he's actually starting to build some forces now, but all he's building is Scorpion tanks, and that's just going to leave him so vulnerable to counterattack by disintegrators.
Yeah, that's true, and an army of this size is actually going to come in and do some real damage to him if he's not careful. These disintegrators are already moving around. So here's the problem, right? Arctic has guys all over the map. He's got a big force. He's able to go to all the Tiberium fields at once and see where Dackle's expanded. And now he's got upgraded Devourers, and a huge group of them. And so he's way ahead with tanks.
This is a huge problem for Dackle. I think he's just split his bases a little too thin across the map, and he doesn't have a concentrated enough force at any one base to really hold off this onslaught.
But he does have an air tower, and he has a couple of MCVs walking around. We know he
still got the crane going.
But look at his economy. I mean, he's got one refinery there with 3 harvesters. He needs more economy to catch up with the tanks, and now he's so far behind. Unless he just plants all those MCVs right now, gets his conduits cranking out refineries, he's going to be in bad shape.
Yeah, and you can see Dackle there has hidden his MCV up in the corner. Somehow Arctic missed it and is now pulling his forces back.
So his best bet would have been to deploy there and then take that base, since he knows Arctic's not going to come back and check it out, since he thinks it's clear, while his real base, his primary base, is getting wiped out.
Yeah, there's really nothing here, and oh my God, Jason, another MCV.
Hey, wait, this one's cloaked.
That's true. This could turn the tide of the battle. This cloaked MCV with no weapons, and look at this. Dackle's main base just falling to these Devourer tanks. This is not pretty.
He's had those tanks for a while, so this cloaked MCV is desperately trying to get away while he watches his opponent build air structures.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that when Arctic went to place that air structure, he probably noticed that he couldn't place it and figured out that there was a stealth unit down there.
Yeah, which is going to be a cue for his massive army, which is now on a search and destroy mission to wipe out whatever it can find.
Yeah, this is bad news for Dackle all around. We've got a Skrin Air Force coming in to finish off one of the MCVs. The entire ground forces of the Skrin taking out the northern MCV, and I'm guessing this is going to be a good game right now.
Yeah, there it goes.
Yeah, well played by Arctic. Interesting tactics, Dackle.
Wow, looks like Dackle got tackled.
That's right, and my boy came through. Nice job, Arctic.
Now it's time once more to break down the match, beginning with an in-depth analysis of the game stats, which for those following at home is a function of Command & Conquer 3 all players can enjoy. Gentlemen, what did you see?
Let's start, as we always do, by taking a look at the unit stats page. As you can see, throughout the game, Arctic just pulls ahead of Dackle in total unit production. And at about the 7 to 8 minute mark, there's a huge battle between Dackle and Arctic. Dackle loses nearly all his forces, but Arctic, he hardly loses anything. You can see that tiny little blip there in his graph. Didn't mean a damn thing, and over the course of the game, Arctic just pulled away and completely beat Dackle.
So let's take a look at how that happened. Let's flip over to the resources section. If you look at the resources, you can see that Arctic had triple Dackle's resources. He had 14,000 against Dackle's 4,000. Another interesting stat to note is that Dackle only created 39 units while he lost 65. That means that almost half his fighting force was created from structures that he sold. It's a very risky way to play the game, but it's a very bold strategy.
So guys, what do you think the key turning point was in this match?
I think the turning point of the match was when Dackle, in an incredibly bold move, went all in with his MCV, sent it straight into Arctic space, plopped it down, sold it, and then used the Saboteur to try and take the drone platform. If he had managed to do that, he might have won the game right there.
So what would you pick as our play of the match?
Well, the play of the match, I would have to say, goes to Arctic for seeing this coming. Only a pro is going to notice that Saboteur coming right towards his drone platform. He sees it coming, takes off, gets out of the way, comes back strong with a big army, and wipes Dackle off the map.
And there you have it. The play of the match goes to Arctic for recognizing Dackle's bold Saboteur strategy and getting the heck out of there.
All right, gentlemen, here's a new question to test your expertise. As you know, we now have our two commanders play a series of 5 matches before choosing the most entertaining to showcase. Can you tell from seeing this one match which commander won the entire 5-game series?
I'm going to have to say Dackle is going to win in 3 out of 5. He has the stats advantage, he's played more games, he's won more games, and even though he got beat badly, I think he's going to come back in a big way.
Well, I'd have to say that Dackle's pretty inconsistent, and Arctic has got to know this. So, as a consistent player, more classic, I would give it to Arctic, but only in 3 out of 5. Dackle does have great stats, and he's a pretty wild guy.
The answer is Dackle, who actually won 4 out of the 5 matches. It just happened that the one match he lost was a one that we decided was best to showcase. So congrats to Arctic for winning the match, and definitely to Dackle for taking the series.
I told you, Jason.
Stats don't lie, and neither does Greg.
And as always, thanks to Jason Bender and Greg Black for their excellent analysis. We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Well, that brings us to the end of another show. But have no fear, we're already hard at work on the next one, which will include on-the-scene coverage of the World Cyber Games grand finale and a behind-the-scenes look at the making of the expansion pack cinematics. As a special sneak peek for Battlecast Primetime viewers, go to this website now, www.commandandconquer.com/KWimage.
And keep an eye out for Battlecast Primetime Aftermath, a new show available to help keep you up to date on all the latest C&C news until we return. And also keep an eye out for Command School, offering tips and strategies to all levels of players. Both of these shows will be available off our website, www.commandandconquer.com.
Now, as promised, before we go, we head back to Germany for exclusive footage of Kane on the loose at the Games Convention.
That's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Life-size pictures of me. Everyone should get one. I want one. Yeah, we will get you one. Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. Hello, Leipzig.
Thanks again for watching.
And don't forget to Battlecast your next match for a shot to be featured here on Battlecast Primetime. For Raj Joshi, I'm David Silverman, and we'll see you on the battlefield.
I have Tiger Raj. Rock and roll, Dave.
This is Battlecast Primetime on Command & Conquer TV. Lights, camera, action! We take you behind the scenes of the live-action cinematics for Kane's Wrath. Who'll be co-starring with the bald-headed Messiah this time around? Starring in the World Cyber Games, U.S. frontrunner Sean Teeter makes his way to Seattle for the grand finals. Will he go all the way? Another episode, another 5 explosive matches that set the bar for C&C players. Check out which ones were so good they can only be described as the Battlecast 5. All your Command & Conquer desires wrapped in one 30-minute show. Battlecast Primetime starts now. You're logged in to Battlecast Primetime. The man on my right, Raj Joshi. I'm David Silverman.
With 2 shows under our belt, you know what to expect. And once again, we won't disappoint.
That's right. This month we have even more breaking news, insider interviews, and exclusives you can't get anywhere else. And what would Battlecast Primetime be without explosive Battlecast action?
Boring?
Harvesting operations. Beautiful glow.
Well, good thing we wouldn't do that to you. No, we've packed in all the head-to-head action you can handle.
That's right. It's time for some flame tanks, firehawks, and phase fields.
Well, you do realize that phase field starts with a PH, right?
Can you think of a screen unit that starts with an F?
What about foundries?
Who wants to watch foundries? Fine. Flame tanks, firehawks, and foundries. This is the Battlecast 5. Metalon Scrin versus Numbers Nod on Tournament Arena. After a failed Shadow Rush, Numbers starts with an aggressive Surveyor expansion to his opponent's blue Tiberium field. While Metalon starts rolling in the credits with an economy boom, Numbers holds his ground with a massive Saboteur Rush, and Metalon sends assimilators right back at him. The map is covered with a colorful array of Nod and Scrin structures, but in the end, Metalon's superior defenses force Numbers into fractions.
4. A sprint mirror between Scorpion and Banger on Tournament Rift. Talk about back and forth. Both players rush midfield, but rather than destroying each other, they start an assimilator race. It's like Monopoly with deeds changing hands left and right, including multiple drone platforms. The battle's almost lost, but Banger can't find the last drone platform, as Scorpion secretly techs up in a neglected corner. 21 minutes later, and Scorpion's tripods make short work of Banger's Seeker army. Scorpion stings that lethal blow, and gets free parking.
3. Back to Tournament Arena for a GDI mirror between Omega and Body. Tonight's edition of the Battlecast 5 is brought to you by the C&C Engineers. For the 3rd straight match, players start out with an Engineer Rush, but this time Omega shelters them in APCs. Body's not concerned though, he techs up his Firehawks with a Stratofighter upgrade. Watch out, Omega, the sky is falling. The sky is falling! That makes Body the Alpha, and Omega, well, the Omega.
2. Iceman GDI versus Supermakill Nod on Tournament Tower. Supermakill starts harassing early and never lets up, moving from flame tanks to avatars. But Iceman won't melt. Check out those sonic emitters. But his cold, hard stance is short-lived as Supermakill sends in his MTV, vaporizing those harassing rocket squads with a cloaking field. He hides a base in the seldom-used bottom gutter, even cloaking it with a disruption tower. He's also got beam cannons bolstering his obelisk. Mammoth tank disassembled. Ouch! Victory, Supermakill.
1. And finally, Cabal Scrin versus Brawl GDI on the always explosive Barstow Badlands. An APC Engineer Rush gives Thrall a huge advantage, but the drone platform escapes. Run, platform, run! Cabal drops his technology assembler and queues up the tripods, but wait. 1 Warp Sphere gone, 2 Warp Spheres gone, 3 Warp Spheres, 3rd time's a charm. Cabal finally gets his tripods and makes his defensive stand in the south. Thrall almost has him cornered on this tiny map, but here come the tripods. Ruh-roh. Take me down to the comeback city where the grass is green and Cabal gets witty. And there's your 5 for this month.
The 5, brought to you by Medal of Honor Heroes 2, available on the Wii and PSP. Take the war into your own hands November 13th.
So how about those foundries, huh?
I didn't really notice any. Must have been too busy watching the grass grow. But we did see some flame tanks and firehawks help change the tide of battle.
That's true, and it's a shame the foundries didn't get their chance in the spotlight, but maybe next time.
Sure, Raj. When we return, notice anything new on our website? APOC breaks down the Battlecast innovations in his corner. And a behind-the-scenes sneak preview of the Kane's Wrath cinematics. You aren't going to believe this all-star cast. Plus, our featured showdown on Riverside Rumble. when Battlecast Primetime continues on Command & Conquer TV.
Welcome back to Battlecast Primetime. I'm Raj Joshi. If last week's peek at Kane's Wrath wasn't enough for you, you weren't alone. David broke out his ninja outfit and snuck into the filming of the cinematics.
I do look good in all black. Footage from my expedition is coming up, along with details on the two newest members to join the ranks of prominent Hollywood actors featured in a Command & Conquer title.
That's right. The cast for Tiberium Wars included House starlet Jennifer Morrison and the two femme fatales from Battlestar Galactica. But first, Aaron APOC Kaufman fills us in on all of the news by the fans, for the fans, in APOC's Community Corner. Aaron?
Hey all you Command & Conquerors, this is APOC, your official Command & Conquer community manager. I'm back here at the Command & Conquer TV headquarters, here to give you the latest news from the community. I'm slowly gaining a bit more office space every episode. Still no ocean to view yet, but I'm getting there. First off, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a very special community birthday. He who loves the game, mods the game. He who mods the game, lives the game. The statement which has stood for the past 7 years on this fan site. We wanted to wish a very special happy 7th birthday to popular C&C modding site, Project Perfect Mod at www.ppmsite.com. Hey Banshee, you know we've met a few times, and you're one crazy freaking Brazilian. But you know what? We still love you and your team. And you'll even get to see some not-so-secret but highly confidential movies from our past C&C3 Community Summit. And as that crazy Brazilian Banshee likes to say, those movies are the awesomeness. After a competition which spanned 8 months, 74 countries, and hundreds of thousands of Command & Conquer players around the world, the World Cyber Games Grand Finals converged in Seattle, Washington, and taking home the gold from the United Kingdom, Sean Apollo Clark, when he defeated Xeon from Germany 2 matches to none. First he was the Battlecast Primetime star, now he's the Command & Conquer 3 World Champion, and he's got $12,000 to boot. Sean Apollo Clark, what in the hell is next for you?
I don't know what I'm going to do there. I might take a holiday, come back here maybe. I don't know.
Stay tuned later in the show when we take you to the World Cyber Games Grand Final, where you'll get an exclusive look at all the C&C epic drama that went down. It may not be the World Cyber Games, and it's definitely not Chutes and Ladders, but come on, who doesn't like an occasional game of Chutes and Ladders? The first official ladder season for the Command & Conquer 3 League kicked off late last month. The first of 3 qualification rounds for our season-ending finals just passed on October 22nd. Congratulations to our top-ranked 8 players on the 1v1 ladder who qualified for the season-ending tournament in the first round. You are one giant step closer to winning the coveted $5,000 check. And not to mention my undying respect. The ladder season continues with the second qualification round ending on November 19th. So get on that 1v1 ladder and start playing, Commander. And to anyone persisting to cheat and disconnect in Command & Conquer 3, watch out for Judge Iron Fist APOC coming to a show near you. Trust me, it's going to be one account-shattering explosive show. In the year 2432, the interstellar war between the allied worlds of Sol and the Core, and the Triaxis, saw the whole of human space descend into 7 long years of apocalyptic war. This is... Wait, what? No, this isn't Command & Conquer 10 Interstellar Wars. This is the precursor story to Asylum, a total conversion mod for Command & Conquer 3 that's hot in production. If you want to check it out, go to asylum.slipstreamproductions.net. And here's a shout out I bet you didn't see coming. Download the beta now from Red Alert: A Path Beyond, a total conversion mod for the thriving legacy game Command & Conquer Renegade. This mod brings Renegade fans all the FPS excitement of retro alternate World War II action and a few nostalgic tears to our eyes. Support this Renegade mod now at www.pathbeyond.com. You've been ordered. And now, Chris Corey, executive producer, is here to tell you why the new Battlecast system is definitely the awesomeness.
Thanks, Aaron.
New awesomeness indeed. We have some great improvements coming to Battlecast. Let's take a look. We're going to start on the league page here for Season 1. And we're going to take a look at a player profile here, Commander NR. And the first thing I want to pull your attention to is this little scrolling widget that actually shows cards for some of his most recent matches. You can click directly on the cards to get match details there. But we're going to pop down here, look at his match history. You can now, directly from match history, click on that match, and we'll get sent straight into the Battlecast program guide where we can see the match details there. We're going to come here, go into the archive section of the site, and this is showing all the Battlecast matches for the last day. Obviously, we have a tab here for the matches that I've played, the matches that my clans have played. Top matches is actually pretty interesting. So this applies an algorithm and pulls out ones that have a high likelihood of being high-quality matches. So these are matches where the participants are senior members of the community, maybe they're high on the ladder, or maybe the match has been downloaded and watched by many different people. So I also want you to check out the Historic Matches tab here. This is where we'll be putting replays of matches that are particularly high quality or were perhaps featured on Battlecast Primetime or some of our other web shows. And additionally, if you have a match that you've played in or that you watched that you thought was extraordinary, feel free to drop APOC a line and we'll see about getting that match up into Historic Matches as well. So just like the current program guide, we also support a full set of advanced options, and many of these will look familiar, but there are some new ones here. Popularity, that's the number of times that the match has been viewed by other people, and match rating, which is based on the rating votes that are collected when people watch the replay. And boom, we've got 19 pages of matches here. Easy to jump into one, click on View Match, and we're ready to go. And I really want to encourage you guys to get your feet wet with our commentary features. There are a lot of people experimenting with the Telestrator, but keep in mind that if you have a microphone attached to your computer, you can record audio, and that will be uploaded to our servers along with the rest of the replay data. Of course, if you think you can do it better, don't forget that you can add commentary to a replay after the fact. So that's it for our new Battlecast features. Thanks a lot. Hope to see you online.
It's like RTS Nirvana. These new features guarantee you can get your daily fix of C&C action while you wait for the next episode of Battlecast Primetime.
Or if you're like me, you can make your own version of the 5 every weekend, just for fun.
That's a bit scary.
Well, don't you do that too?
No, we have interns for that. But now the story you've been waiting for, cinematics from Kane's Wrath. Here's your peek at the upcoming stellar FMVs. See if you can spot the high-profile actors.
We all make mistakes. I think that's part of being human, and Brother Marcion made a mistake. Circumstances being what they were, he thought he understood what was going on, but unfortunately, he didn't. And he pays a price. But fortunately, Kane is there to bring him back into line.
Kane. Yes. Kane's Wrath is actually, it's a musical. They've added a lot of really cool songs. I have a very nice aria in the second act. I have a lovely tenor voice, actually. A lot of tap dancing numbers as well, and a nice little clog section with a lot of clogging. Those are the only secrets I'm allowed to give.
What have you done? What have you done? And you! And what have you?
She's the angel of the nods. I mean, she very much, Kane is her, she idolizes him. He is her prophet. He is, her everything.
Action! The only way you'll get more quality videos like that is to buy the expansion early 2008.
Or keep watching Battlecast Primetime. Maybe the News Ninja will make a comeback.
That's a pretty lame alias. Speaking of alias, you just saw co-star Carl Lumley. He'll be featured in Kane's Wrath along with Natasha Henstridge. Not too shabby.
Personally, I can't wait to see more of them, especially Natasha. I'm sure she'll add a whole 9 yards of fun to the game. Get it? She was in that movie, A Whole 9 Yards?
You better believe we got more Kane's Wrath info to leak later. But for now, ever wonder why Tiberium is green? Or why GDI's airships are named after killer whales? Want to know how the online auto matcher works? Or what the Confessor upgrade does? Well, there's no such thing as a stupid question. Only stupid answer. It's time to ask a developer.
By the time you're watching this episode, APOC and his forum monkeys will have already created a new thread on the C&C forums called Ask a Developer. Here you can post all those burning questions or go the extra mile and post a link to a video of yourself asking. Be sure to show off your C&C swag and maybe you'll be featured here on Ask a Developer.
In the meantime, Raj, hand me today's question. Thank you. It says here this was submitted by a dapper young go-getter, now a producer for a major video game company. He prides himself in his C&C skills. Look at that, he used a Z. How cute. Raj Joshi asked, wait a minute, Raj Joshi?
Well, yeah, what did you expect? The thread hadn't been posted yet.
That's a good point. Why does David Silverman always get to read the show open on Battlecast Primetime? I stand corrected. That was a stupid question. Raj, I thought we'd settle this like adults. I was higher on the 1v1 ladder, remember? Anyways, it's time we turn our attention to Ask a Developer with some questions you may actually want to know.
Thanks, guys. I'm Amir Rao, a level designer on Command & Conquer 3, and since we don't have the forum post up yet, I'm going to go ahead and answer a question I see on the forums all the time, which is how does veterancy work? Well, a unit starts with no veterancy. Once it kills 3 times its own value in units, it becomes a veteran. A veteran does 10% more damage and has 10% more health. The next level up is Elite. At Elite, a unit has 20% more health and does 20% more damage. After killing 3 times its value again, a unit is considered Heroic. At Heroic, a unit does 20% more damage, has 50% more health, has twice the rate of fire, and is much harder to suppress. You'll notice Heroic units because they have a special Heroic icon and Heroic firing effects. Well, that's all for now. If you have your own questions, go to commandandconquer.com and post them. Back to you guys.
I'm glad we got that cleared up. Send us your questions at commandandconquer.com. Hey, I got a question. Who's going to be playing in our featured match?
Great question, not telling. When we return, neither rain nor storms nor precipitation can stop us from bringing you news of the Seattle World Cyber Games Grand Finals. Plus, Associate Art Director Mike Colonese talks about the art of the Messiah. Hallelujah! When Battlecast Primetime continues on Command & Conquer TV. Welcome back to Battlecast Primetime. I'm David Silverman. Kane's Wrath will introduce some huge changes to all 3 factions, literally. The expansion pack will include all new epic units, the biggest units in the game. Mike Colonese is in studio standing by to tell us more about the art and creation of these units.
But first, while Kane's Wrath may be months away from release, there's still a lot happening with C&C3. It all starts in Seattle, where world-class players are duking it out Tiberium style. Let's learn more from the front.
Thousands of gamers from 74 nations around the world have been battling it out for a chance to take home the gold at the World Cyber Games Grand Finals in Seattle, Washington. For more details, let's dial up APOC to walk us through this momentous event.
Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Aaron APOC Kaufman, your official Command & Conquer community manager. We're here in Seattle, Washington, covering the 2007 Grand Finals of the World Cyber Games. Some of the top players are here from around the world, and they're all competing for a chance to be crowned the world champion of Command & Conquer 3, and not to mention a shot at winning $12,000.
I would like to welcome you to the 2007 World Cyber Games.
So it looks like you're on your way to the single elimination bracket on Saturday. How do you feel about your chances so far?
I think my chances are pretty good. My toughest opponent would be Dackle, obviously. He's a fantastic player. His micro's insane, his macro's insane. He's got all the attributes to win the whole tournament.
I think luck will be an important factor. Well, I would say one of the best looking players right now is definitely Dackle.
If I'm lucky, I might win the tournament.
It is day 4 here at the World Cyber Games Grand Final, and we are going for gold with Command & Conquer 3. It's going to be Xeon from Germany and Apollo from the UK. It should be quite an epic showdown.
Just put it down at that western expansion so he's
I'm feeling fantastic. It's what I aimed for from the start, and it's great. I don't know what to say. It feels awesome.
The long-awaited Battlecast viewer will finally arrive alongside patch 109. This standalone feature lets you download and watch C&C3 replays from commandandconquer.com. When you download the free viewer, you'll get the entire multiplayer game, all the art, units, and maps, but none of the functionality. That's right, it's locked in observer mode, meaning you can only watch other people play. Hey, there's no such thing as a free lunch, people.
Earlier in the show, we saw how awesome the cinematics in Kane's Wrath will be, but they're just a small part of the art direction. It takes an incredible amount of skilled designers, modelers, and animators to create the environment, structures, and units you all know and love. Kane's Wrath is introducing a new challenge for our dedicated artists, the Epic Unit. These larger-than-life elite vehicles are designed to be highly customizable, game-changing units, feared by your opponents. Joining us now to talk about the art of the Epic Unit is Associate Art Director Mike Colonese. Mike, welcome to Battlecast Primetime.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Mike, a lot of the fans have been asking questions about these Epic Units, how they play, how they look, all that stuff. But before we get into that, let's get to know a little bit more about you. So on Command & Conquer 3 Tiberium Wars, you were doing concept art, you were doing modeling, you were doing some animation. With all this kinds of stuff, how many of these skills do you still use as an art director?
Everything. I mean, the project's in various stages of production each day. So we may be doing concept work on an alien and then doing animation for a nod unit in cinematic. So it's a lot of jumping around each day for the artist.
Now, Mike, on C&C3, you were the lead artist.
Mm-hmm.
With all these different units in C&C3, was there any one in particular that you were just like, man, that unit's awesome?
Definitely the Mammoth tank. It's a classic C&C unit. It was really important for us to get the look for GDI down early. So it's got that kind of functional design, very angular, and very cool. So it was a great leaping board for the rest of the project and getting the rest of GDI in.
Sweet. So now let's get to the Epic Unit, the moment everyone's been waiting for. We have not released any details on the Epic Unit. Nobody knows what it is except the name Epic Unit, which can mean a lot of different things.
Huge.
So with the Epic Unit, how is it different from, say, a Juggernaut or an Annihilator tripod or even an Avatar?
Well, it's twice as big as any of those units. It's got its own build structure, so it's very expensive, later game unit, and you can only have one out in the battlefield at a time, just like a commando.
Okay. So I got the suits upstairs to allow us to leak a special image of the Nod Epic Unit. So we're going to pull that up momentarily. When we do, can you just walk us through that? So like the choices you made from an art direction standpoint, different things, where'd you get the inspiration, things like that. Let's pull it up now.
So it starts out as a basic chassis, and it was really important for us to get that kind of Nod evil design. So it's got very sharp angles to it, that smooth Nod look, lots of red glowy lights, and the cool dark Nod texture to it. It also has upgradable hardpoints on it, so depending on what kind of unit you throw inside, it will change the artwork on it.
That sounds pretty cool. So if I drop like a black hand in there, it'll be like a flamethrower kind of thing?
Yeah, you'll get 2 giant flame tanks on the back, or you put a militant in it and you'll get 2 giant rocket launchers on the shoulder. So it'll be very cool for the players, to customize these giant walker robots and then, run them out in the battlefield.
That's pretty cool. Now, unfortunately, suits upstairs didn't bite, and I can only leak that one. So the rest of the Epic units will have to remain a mystery for now. But last episode of Battlecast Primetime, we did see Jim Bissell at Leipzig kind of walk us through some of the new units. So we saw like the Cyborg, and we saw the Shatterer tank for GDI. Can you walk us through some other the new units and how you got the idea for their look and how they act and whatnot?
Well, I mean, we're on the message board each day reading what the fans want, and so getting the hover vehicles back in was really important to us. Going back into the C&C franchise, getting the Cyborgs in there. So it's just, we wanted to get what the fans wanted, so a lot of new cool stuff and stuff from the older games.
Mike, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Now go finish Kane's Wrath.
But David, we film Battlecast Primetime on Saturdays.
That's besides the point, Raj. Our fans are anxiously awaiting him to finish Kane's Wrath, and hey, we're working here. Coming up, our featured match on Riverside Rumble. Which players from the 5 are playing? You'll have to wait till we go through the eyes. Whoever the mysterious competitors are, C&C developers Greg Black and Jason Bender will be here to break down all the action. When Battlecast Primetime continues on Command & Conquer TV.
Hey kids, are you sick and tired of video games that are horrible? That's why you'll love The Simpsons game. It's got all your favorite Springfield characters, like the fat guy, the blue-haired dame, their annoying little kids, plus aliens, gangsters, evil loggers, and surprise guests. And the best part is, I'm the star. What? They can't play as me? What do you mean ancillary character? The Simpsons game, rated T for teen.
PlayStation 3, starting at $3.99.
Let's get ready to rumble! On the Riverside. Joining us in the studio to help break down the players and strategies are C&C developers Greg Black and Jason Bender. Guys, welcome.
It's great to be back, David. Hey, did you see that ninja at the Kane's Wrath shoot get totally shot down by Natasha Henstridge?
Oh, snap!
Yeah, if only he could have found a way to ninja her wedding ring away. Well, it's finally time to learn who will be fighting in our featured match.
Not quite. Before we meet the players, let's get to know a little bit more about the terrain they'll be traversing. What does your battleground reconnaissance show, Greg?
Riverside Rumble is a strategic 1v1 map with an emphasis on economy and terrain control. Players start in opposite corners on a defensible plateau with only 2 entrances protected by many garrisonable structures. Each player has a starting field and a nearby expansion field, but these are the only 4 tib fields on the map, so economy is key and every unit counts. This port town is divided by a river, giving the map its title. There are only 3 ways across the river: a land bridge in the northwest corner, 2 destructible bridges to a center island with a capturable turret, and 2 more destructible bridges to a lone tip spike in the southeast corner. When a bridge is blown, it'll take an engineer in one of these gatehouses to repair it. The Brotherhood of Nod may have an advantage on this map, as their saboteurs can booby-trap bridges. Of course, aircraft can bypass the choke points altogether, but with more than 40 abandoned structures throughout, expect to see lots of garrisoned anti-air infantry.
Thanks, Greg. Now let's learn a little bit about the 2 commanders who will be tearing it up on the Riverside. Let's go through the eyes. Our first competitor comes to us from the Netherlands, Amsterdam. His name is Armin Baysal, but to the C&C community, he's just R. R was born in December 1988 in Ankara, Turkey. As a kid, he loved to play soccer, but he said talking about video games with his teammates made him want to skip practice and play C&C. Good job, R. At the moment, he's studying to be an airplane technician. He's always wanted to be a pilot. R can play any faction, but he especially likes steamrolling his opponents with the powerful Skrin late game. Like many players, he's unsure if Kane is evil, but he did say with some certainty that Apollo and Yama are. He says the biggest mistake you can make is to avoid the top players. You should play with them, hang out with them, and soon you'll be as good as them. Tonight he'll be answering the timeless question, are you ready to rumble?
His opponent plays from the snow-covered mountains of Skien, Norway. When we asked him to spell his name phonetically, he replied, "It's really hard to explain as it contains 2 sounds you don't have in America. Give it your best shot, and I won't complain." So here goes it, Seminli Locus. Or around here, we like to call him Chuck. You may know him from the boards as Metalon. Metalon was born in December 1990 in Nordkapp, Norway, the northernmost point of all Europe. He's just starting his 2nd year of high school, but he aspires to go to college and study media, or computer engineering. If you're wondering why he's such a good C&C3 player, well, it's because he got the game a week before its release. That's right, an internet store in his country made a huge mistake and sent out the pre-orders a week early. Of course, it could also be because he's played the Red Alert 2 campaign more than 100 times. As a self-described techer, he plays Skrin because of their superior air force and late-game abilities. His advice to new players? Build units. Teching is great, but you won't get far without an army. If you want to follow in these players' footsteps, watch the next Command School. Developer Greg Kasavin's Skrin Spectacular will teach you to rock this endgame powerhouse. An explosion montage is practically guaranteed.
Once more, the time has come to put our reputations on the line as we choose our pick of the match. Gentlemen.
Just for the sheer piracy of it, I'm going to have to go with R.
And you know, Jason, for once, I think I'm going to have to agree with you on something. I'm going to go with R2. He's played 3 times as many games as Metalon, over 3,000 matches. That is a lot of bang for your buck.
More like bang for your buccaneer, am I right?
Raj Joshi on the on-deck circle. Who are you going to pick?
Well, it's a tough decision, but I'm going to have to pick the young chap from the very green city of Amsterdam.
Why does that not surprise me? And that's going to leave me going with Chuck. Well, there you have it. Gates are closed, bets are in. Gentlemen, let's rock. Tonight's matchup is between Metalon's GDI and R's Scrin on Riverside Rumble.
R in the north corner starts off with a strong infantry rush by building a base defense and selling it and a barrack, so now he's got plenty of riflemen to play around with.
Meanwhile, in the south, Metalon builds up a power plant and a foundry, launches that drone ship, and heads straight for the center.
Now this is match 5 out of 5 for these guys, so the stakes couldn't possibly be higher. While they're building up, let's go take a look at the previous 4 matches. Metalon's secret shrine calls in 2 shadow teams. He builds a 3rd and sells the shrine for an even 4. They take out a power plant and a crane, but R's Storm Riders wipe out his harvesters and the power grid for the win. 1-0 R.
Metalon's expansion is getting wiped out by those Scorpions, and R's Vertigos take out his tech center. But he rebuilds it, holds off the attack, and comes back for the win. They're tied at 1-1.
It's R's turn to try the Shadow Rush. They cross the river and land to take out a crane, but Metalon sells his refinery and uses buzzards to wipe them out. R must have been really frustrated, because soon after he forfeits the match. 1-2, Metalon.
R Nog cloaks 2 flame tanks and sneaks them to a bottleneck. His decoy army puts 2 fakes inside Metalon's base, while the real ones level a war factory. From here, the real ones retreat and go stealth, while the decoys create a diversion. The fakes are wiped out, and the real flame tanks are cloaked inside Metalon's base. Check out this micro, as only 2 units take out an airfield, an operations center, a tech center, 2 power plants, half a dozen tanks, and a refinery. Finally, one goes down to a predator, but R's second flame tank escapes and goes stealth. He waits it out and levels the con yard, tying it up 2-all.
Wow, that was some excellent flame tank micro. If R can keep that up in this game, I think he's got a very strong chance of winning.
It looks like he is going with the micro. He's got APCs here loaded up with engineers now, and that's a big micro package.
And back over here at Metalon's base, you can see he looks like he's going for something of an economy boom, a pretty traditional build order here. He's got a wide base spread out and is putting down for the long term.
Yeah, that's gonna do well in the late game. So in the meantime, though, the early game, we've got the APCs coming in with engineers. They're gonna go right past that lightning spike, and they're gonna move in here between the harvester and the refinery.
And what is this that they're doing here, Jason? Am I mistaken, or was that a mine drop?
It looks like the APC mine drop. You don't see it often, but it's a great job right here because he's popping those buzzers, damaging the seekers. It's going to give his engineers the time they need.
And look at that, his engineer got in, captured the refinery while the harvester was docked. That's a huge win for R.
Yeah, $2,400 of Tiberium flowing in, plus the value of the buildings. So he's in great shape here. It looks like he's going to sell it. That refinery, that harvester's going to head home. The other engineer died, but overall, big win economically. So he's going to take a bite out of Metalon's significant base here. Metalon did a great job of setting up his base, but R had to come in and get his share.
Yeah, that's definitely going to hurt Metalon in the long term. Hopefully he can survive against it.
Yeah, it looks like he will. I mean, he's got a pretty strong base. So in the south here, meanwhile, R is at more of a disadvantage. He used that dig in power to try and hold that bridge. The Seekers run right past it, and it doesn't look like he's going to be able to hold that tip spike with those APCs.
Yeah, those APCs simply cannot hold up against that kind of firepower. All those Seeker tanks, even when they've got rocket guys in there, they have to get out.
Yeah, and covering their tracks, they use another mine drop, but the assimilator comes in, and at the end, he takes that tip spike.
Metalon enhancing his economy a little bit. He's going to need it to make up for that lost refinery.
And it looks like he's got a couple of rigs in here, so he's got the center of the map uncontested now, so he doesn't... R's base is not as strong as Metalon's, but he does have more tip spikes and he's got more command over the field. And he's got a wider variety of units here too. He's got snipers, he's got APCs, he's got predators, he's got everything.
So it looks like R has an MCV, and that's a new one, not his primary MCV, rolling into Metalon's base. This could be bad.
Yeah, so Metalon doesn't have a very large army. He's got his infrastructure up, he's got a lot of cash flowing in, but he has, and he's got those force fields, but it looks like this is just a little bit too early for him to be ready. He only has one tripod and a few other units hanging around.
Yeah, and that tripod is just getting eaten up by that sonic emitter. I think if Metalon had spent a little more time building units and a little less time teching up, he'd probably be in a better position right now.
Yeah, and that shockwave artillery didn't help any. It stunned that tripod and put him at a disadvantage.
That was an excellent use of powers and units in combination by R. Really good play there.
So meanwhile, we have the Devastator. This is an artillery unit, not a frontline unit, even though it's got a force field. It's a Devastator and a tripod trying to hold off a straight tank battle here. He's just not going to have enough to hold it together. But he's got another tripod coming out.
Yeah, but that Devastator just got devastated. It didn't do anything to those tanks, and I don't think one tripod's going to do anything either.
So it looks like this base is going to fall in the long run. He's got zone troopers coming in. Look at this. I mean, check out the variety of units that R is using. Metalon's long-term strategy It might have held up a little bit better if he had just had one more minute to cash in some of that money on units.
Yeah, R really went all in early on and is paying dividends now. You can see Medellon's just been on the defensive this whole game, and again, more excellent power usage by R.
That's a big variety of stuff coming into his base. Doesn't look like he has much of a defense, and he surrenders.
Ooh, that's rough. You know, Medellon really didn't have much recourse against all those units, but you can't feel too bad. R was really playing a very strong game. He had lots of powers. He was coordinating them extremely well with a bunch of units. Saw some very interesting micro. Medellon cannot feel too bad about losing to R.
Medellon bet on the long-term sound strategy, straight up, teching up, force fields for his tripods. Normally a good bet. R was just a little bit too crazy for him, I guess.
Great match. Jason, Greg, what do the stats tell you about this match?
Well, if we take a look at the units graph, you can see at about the 3-minute mark, R really starts to pull away in unit production. And at about the 7-minute mark, there's a big battle and R clearly wins it.
Flip that around and look at the structures. Medellon was ahead the entire time. He was banking on teching up force fields, tripods, devastators. This could have paid off if he survived the initial rush.
Yeah, I think this was the classic rush strategy versus the tech strategy, and ultimately the rush strategy won, but I think that's largely due to R's excellent play, excellent micromanagement, and excellent use of powers.
And what would you identify as the play of the match?
Certainly when R rolls up with his APCs. He deploys mines, killing the buzzers, and that covers his engineers. The engineers run right into the refinery just as the harvester pulls up.
Yeah, he got all 2,400 Tiberium credits by capturing that refinery just in the nick of time. That's a huge advantage for a rusher who's not really focusing on their economy, and I really think it's ultimately what won him the game.
That does it for tonight's match. Congratulations to R for a great win, and to Medellon for putting up such a great fight. Greg, Jason, thank you so much for coming on the show.
And if all those epic units left you aching for more, don't miss next episode when we show you the lay of the land with some of the 30-plus maps in Kane's Wrath. For a sneak peek at some of the maps, go to www.battlecastprimetime.com/KW Maps now.
And don't forget, next episode, we'll also have the highly anticipated interview with Natasha Henstridge. Well, our time is up. We bid you farewell from the land of Tiberium and remind you to battlecast your next match for a shot to be featured here on Battlecast Primetime. For Raj Joshi, I'm David Silverman, and we'll see you on the battlefield. Ed Tiger.
Rock and roll, cheeky.
C&C's Kane invaded our studio and found a new friend.
David and Raj get pumped, APOC goes global, and the first primetime blood is spilled. 2 words, expansion pack.
Excited? We've got more for you.
It's all here on Aftermath.
What's up, everyone? I'm Amy.
And I'm Drew. Welcome to Aftermath, the show that gives you the inside scoop on what you saw and a few things that you didn't on Command & Conquer TV's Battlecast Primetime.
We've got extras from our exclusive interview with the man himself, C&C's very own Joe Coogan. Wait till you see what they didn't show you.
In addition, we'll take a closer look at our Battlecast Primetime hosts and show you a bit of their off-the-air personalities. We've also got some more information on how to get you on the show.
And finally, what everyone's been most excited to hear about, the expansion pack. We've got insider information straight from the Games Convention in Leipzig, Germany. You won't want to miss it.
Well, that's a lot for us to get through. Let's get right to it. He's the man that C&C fans have embraced for over a decade. Here's a bit of what we didn't show you from EA's resident arch-villain, Kane.
But you haven't aged a day in 8 years. Yes. So there's got to be a secret there. What is it?
The secret is that I haven't actually aged a day in 8 years. I haven't lived a day since 8 years ago.
So they put you in like some freezer locker?
Yeah, like Michael Jackson. I actually sleep in a hermetically sealed. You know the shot at the end of Firestorm where Kane is floating, and that's actually my tank at home that I float in every night when I go to bed. So that's preserved me nicely. If you actually touch my skin, it's mostly like it's waxy and really tough to. See, I'm like I'm like a walking fossil just from being I'm pickled. I've been pickled in a jar. The best thing. All right, that's it. Joe Kukin here is here to announce I'm actually a walking, talking pickle.
I gotta ask. Yeah. In a recent interview on GameSpot, you actually were talking about Grace Park having a glass eye. Any fallout from that?
I guess I should probably take just a moment to say that, Grace Park doesn't really have a glass eye.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I was just joking about that. Sometimes I think I'm funny when I'm just not. I get recognized every once in a while in the strangest places.
Do tell.
In the video store. Some people still go to video stores. Us Luddites, we still have to go to video stores. In the library, I was recognized once in the library. Nobody has ever come up to me and actually screamed, "Peace through power," though. I would find that a little weird.
What do they say? Do they say, "Oh my God, it's Kane"? Or
usually they say, "Hey, aren't you Kane?" And
that's pretty cool.
Well, it's cool, but I gotta say, look, if you guys see me in the grocery store or, God forbid, the library, and I'm hanging out, don't ask me if I'm Kane, because I'm not Kane. I mean, it's fine. Come say hi. It's cool, but. My name's Joe. I swear I would take out my wallet and hand $20 to the first guy that came to me and goes, "Hey, you're Joe Kukin, aren't you?" Nobody knows who I am, for crying out loud. I know who Kane is. He's, like I said, you shave a white guy. But knowing my name, that huge plus there, huge plus. So there's $20 in it for you.
There you go.
Know my name.
That could get exciting.
We at Command & Conquer TV try to take ourselves pretty seriously.
But sometimes we forget.
Here are some of our less than perfect, but more than entertaining moments.
Second chance. However, before we get to that historic rematch, we've got another slice of history to serve up. La 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 la. Cobra, la 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 la.
Nice, sorry, I have no idea.
Turtles like cheese. Turtles like cheese.
You're right.
And they transform, feet and legs.
Yeah, that make no sense.
Oh yeah. Now for more detailed analysis.
Because little Kane says, because you're an idiot. You're an idiot. Because you're an idiot.
Thank you.
Idiot. Look. It's little Kane. Don't blame me. It talks. Push the what? I'll push the button. You're an idiot. You're an idiot.
Yeah, all right.
Now it's a parrot. You're an idiot.
All right.
You're an idiot. Paulie said you're an idiot.
And that's what happened to bots. And that's what happened to bots, who tried to return to his base. And that's what happened to bots.
This expansion is all about everyone's favorite villain, Kane. With the brand new campaign, brand new, you'll be able to download the viewer only at commandandconquer.com. Sorry, I figured you didn't want Command and Conquer. Rock and roll. So I have no excuses left?
Better be perfect. Are you set, Raj?
Yes, sir.
All right, so maybe we forget a lot. But the one thing we take seriously here are our featured matches.
So how do you get on the show? You play often.
And remember, every time you do, be sure to check the Battlecast option before you start your match. Now, also available on commandandconquer.com is Command School, offering in-depth strategy and training to the RTS gamer.
Until then, strategize, compete, and battlecast your match. We're looking for the best matches and competitors to feature in their very own Battlecast Primetime match. Keep playing. You may just be here with us.
All right, the expansion pack. Unveiled last month at the Games Convention in Leipzig, Germany. Command & Conquer 3 Kane's Wrath looks awesome.
The C&C dev team released screenshots, concept art, and most recently, the official Kane's Wrath trailer. Take a look.
Prepare for ascension. Behold my child. The sweep of history. Cabal was only the beginning.
And that's not all. We've got a sneak peek at some of the brand new units of Kane's Wrath.
Hammerhead online. Death from above.
Slingshot. Watch the horizon.
Shatterer, standing by. Engage Sonics.
Hidden and dangerous.
Our will is Kane's. Yours to command.
Reckoner here. Protecting Kane's servants.
Check Battlecast Primetime's next episode, airing later this month, for more news on the expansion pack, including an interview with the lead designer. It's going to be an exciting few months for C&C fans.
And be sure to stay tuned to commandandconquer.com, your official source for news, extras, tips, and insider information for everything C&C.
From all of us here at Command & Conquer TV, see you next time on Aftermath.
The door to ascension stands locked before us. The Tacitus is the key.
On the last episode of Battlecast Primetime, lead designer Sam Bass slipped us some Kane's Wrath plot secrets, and we want more.
The Battlecast Primetime guys were let loose on Leipzig. Kane, Apoc, and Silverman came back with a lot to share. The dev team's Gavin Simon told us all about patch 1.09, and 10 new competitors face off for their chance to be on our featured match.
All that and more coming up here on Aftermath. Hi guys, I'm Natalie.
And I'm Drew. Welcome to Aftermath, the show where we catch you up on everything you did and didn't see on Battlecast Primetime.
We've got extras from our interview with Sam Bass, lead designer for Kane's Wrath. Here's an inside look.
What about Kane's mask? Kane's mask, I can confirm, it's back and it's badass.
All right, well, that's something.
Yeah, this is Kane's head. This is his headpiece. And he's been modified slightly. The last one, like I said, was a silver one that they did that was more fluid. It had no detail at all. So Richard will actually tell me what he wants once he sees it on him again, and he'll tell me if he wants a little bit more color or if he wants me to touch it or something.
Now, Kane's Wrath is coming together on track and on target. Earlier this month, EA Los Angeles, led by cinematics director Richard Taylor, shot the live action sequences that have become a staple of the Command & Conquer franchise.
In late September, EA released a mysterious screenshot to Battlecast Primetime fans off of its website. Could this be a first taste of things to come?
Now, the Battlecast Primetime cameras were on set for the filming of the Kane's Wrath cinematics and caught up with Joe Coogan and several other big stars. Now, continuing with the tradition of incorporating high-profile actors and actresses into Command & Conquer, Kane's Wrath has a star-studded cast, which we'll reveal exclusively on the next episode of Battlecast Primetime.
The Tacitus emerges, the Black Hand resurfaces. What else could happen in Kane's Wrath? You'll just have to stay tuned to Command & Conquer TV, your exclusive source for expansion pack breaking news. Battlecast Primetime Episode 2 launched a few weeks ago with one exciting new feature, the Battlecast 5.
We searched the forums and we took your suggestions. Each episode of Battlecast Primetime will feature more action and, more importantly, will give you more chances to get on the show.
Keep strategizing, compete, and as always, battlecast your match. And don't forget to visit our website at www.commandandconquertv.com for special features, behind closed doors presentations, and the most complete and up-to-date information on everything Command & Conquer.
Well, that's all the time we have for this episode. For all of us here at Command & Conquer TV, thanks for watching. We leave you now with a few of our more special moments. We'll see you next time on Aftermath.
All right, gentlemen, here's a new question to test your expert.
Sorry, it just happened that we can't say this line properly. So congrats to Archik for winning the match, and definitely to Dackle for taking the series.
Yeah, Archik, good work, buddy.
Did I say Archik?
Yeah.
Archik.
His name is Archik.
But now it's time to turn our attention back to the main event and reveal the two commanders who will be facing off in our featured match.
Okay.
That
was a two-shot, Rush.
We actually saw everything you did.
It takes me so long to set up for that ISO that I just get God.
I try to be a good battlecaster, but my base creep just doesn't work.
Leipzig doesn't like you.
Battlecast match!
Let's try it again.
Battlecast Prime Time intro, take 5.
Here we go.
Aw, yeah. Tanner likes Dave. Arr, arr, arr. Arr.
I'm Raj Joshi.
On the last episode of Battlecast Primetime,
Developer Mike Colonese was in the studio and gave us some inside information on the upcoming units of Kane's Wrath. Raj goes gaga over Natasha Henstridge and Carl. APOC lays it all down and gets a little angry in his corner. And as always, 10 new competitors face off in the Battlecast 5.
all that and more is coming up here on Aftermath. Hey guys, I'm Andrea.
And I'm Drew. And welcome to Aftermath, the show where we catch you up on everything you did and didn't see on Battlecast Primetime.
We've got a lot to get through, so let's get to it. What's been on everyone's mind for the past few months? You guessed it, the expansion pack. This past episode featured a sneak peek of things to come, but for you, we have more.
That's right. We knew you guys wouldn't settle for just a taste, so we are delivering. Aftermath is your source for the latest on Kane's Wrath.
Drew sat down with cinematics director Richard Taylor to get a feel for what it was like on set.
That's right. I mean, let's face it, the guy has an awesome job, and he was able to score us even more footage from the game itself. Check it out. Command & Conquer 3 Tiberium Wars was blessed with some of the biggest stars, some of the most intense drama, and of course, some of the highest production values available to gamers. And today, we're lucky enough to have the director of those live action sequences, Richard Taylor, here with us in the studio. Welcome.
Hey, thanks, Drew. It's great to be here.
Now, the Command & Conquer franchise has spanned well over a decade now. Where exactly is Kane's Wrath falling within that timeline?
Well, Kane's Wrath actually is in 3 acts, and it begins at the end of Tiberium Sun, and then covers the Tiberium War section, and then a little bit into the future.
You know, a lot of players have been with the Command & Conquer series throughout the whole thing, but there are some who are just joining for the first time with Tiberium Wars. What have you done in creating the look of the game to both stay true to the original, but both modernize it and keep it up to date with current trends?
Well, what's really unique about the whole Command & Conquer franchise is that it's one of the few games franchise that actually features live action. And you know, I think that it's really brilliant for doing that because in this franchise, you're being addressed as the player, as the commander. And so the the actors are looking you right in the eye and talking to you, and to have computer simulated characters that could do that, for you to really believe they have a heart and soul and to look you in the eye, it'd be very difficult. When Tricia Helfar asks you for help, there's a little bit more sympathy there. Here at EALA, we're trying to raise the bar. And so one of the first things to do was to really make them have high production values, so they are feature level, that when you look at them, there's no second guessing what our intent was, and that's to make it have a really rich value. So the production levels are higher, the actors are much better, they're higher quality people, as you know. I mean, when you have Billy D. Williams and Tricia Helfar and Josh Holloway and Jennifer Morrison, I mean, what can you say? Those are great people.
I would certainly do whatever Tricia asked me to do. I mean, who wouldn't?
I did.
So, the big returning character is, of course, Kane. Now, without, spoiling anything, what can we expect from him? How does his character grow?
Well, I think in Kane's Wrath, what's really neat is that the writers have really done a great job of arcing his character. So you get to see him at his most kind of downtrodden. You get to see him rise out of the ashes and, come back into power, and then to move on. I got to say, Joe Coogan, who plays Kane, is just a terrific guy and a really talented actor. Going into this whole thing, never having met him, I wasn't sure, how well he'd perform, but boy, he's come through beautifully. And I was really thrilled the way that he acted with other actors. I mean, a lot of what he did in the earlier Command & Conquer series, he was really just addressing the camera, and there wasn't a lot of inner dialogue between characters. Boy, but when he locked up with Tricia Helfar, and then we have some new actors in this next sequence that are really beautiful. Yeah.
Now, speaking of some of the new actors, Natasha Henstridge,
yeah.
Carl Lumbly.
Yeah.
Can you tell me anything? I mean, I know we don't want to give anything away, but what can we expect from the characters they're playing?
Well, Natasha plays Alexa, and it's a really complicated role. And she's a very, very talented actress. I mean, a lot of people miscredit, beautiful women for, the talent that they have. And she really had a lot of complicated stuff to do in this. And, I think it's a tribute to these actors that this whole franchise has lots of complicated words and technology and kind of science fiction jargon that they aren't used to. And for them to learn those scripts and to make it believable, it's difficult stuff to do. It's not as easy as a regular kind of dramatic show because there's all this technological kind of wording that goes along with this. And Carl Lumbly, what can I say? He's a penultimate actor. He has a Shakespearean background, stage actor, and then television series and features. So he plays Marcion, and boy, he just pulls off a great bit with his performance.
I think I speak for everyone when I say can't wait to see it. Listen, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you,
Really
Drew.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Now, also for our Aftermath fans, you brought some more bonus footage, did you not?
Yes, I did. You got to check it out.
12 seconds. That'll be super tight next to when she gets to 11, she's going to stop and not say 12. Here we go. Yeah. Roll sound.
Take
Action.
The factions in South America follow not out of faith, but out of fear. But fear alone won't be enough to bring the other factions into the fold.
The dust has cleared from the World Cyber Games in Seattle, Washington, and only one competitor was left standing.
Sean Clark, aka Apollo, walked away with the money and the title of greatest C&C gamer.
In my first match against Kufu Unju, and the tiebreak was a screen mirror on Tournament Dust Bowl, and it was real close. Both of us were fighting 50-50 throughout the whole game, and right at the end he attacked me with a lot of Storm Riders, which I didn't expect, and he took my tripods down, and he ended up capturing them and just rolled me after that. I was really disappointed with that. And the other game we played against him, which was the final game, was a screen mirror again on Small Town USA, and I was really gutted with this game actually because I'd actually had it won. I mean, I'd knocked him off the expansion and the corner, and for some reason I didn't scout his base and he teched, and therefore I was thinking, I thought I got it, so I laid back a little bit, and then all of a sudden he had mastermind tripods coming at me, storm columns, and I was like, oh my god. So I basically lost that, threw that game away, which was really disappointing, but hopefully if I meet with him again, I will take him down.
Dude, so you are moving on to the grand finals. How do you feel?
Exhausted.
You're out of breath.
Yeah, it's so hard.
What was the key there to beating Daco?
Stopping them APCs. He loves his APCs and his engineers. If you don't stop it, he'll win in a minute. He'll win 1-30. He's won all his other games in like under 2 minutes. But stopping that, and it puts him, he doesn't know what to do after that, because it's hard for GDI late game against Scrin, and they got to go early game, and once you stop that, you got to win.
Is it Scrin all the way for the grand final?
Oh yeah, definitely. You'll be seeing Scrin on them screens.
Now, for a special look at the next episode of Battlecast Primetime, we go live to our EA special correspondent, Sarah Nelson.
Thanks, guys. Coming up on Battlecast Primetime Episode 4. There's going to be breaking news for Xbox 360 owners. You'll have to tune in. We have specials from the set of Kane's Wrath. Natasha Henstridge and Carl Lumley sit down with our cameras. And 10 more competitors face off in the Battlecast 5. It's going to be an exciting month for C&C fans, so stay tuned.
Be sure to check out our website at www.commandandconquertv.com for special features, behind closed door presentations, and the most complete and up-to-date information on everything Command and Conquer.
And as always, strategize, compete, and battlecast your match. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode. For all of us here at Command & Conquer TV, thanks for watching.
That would be me talking.
And be sure. Thanks, Sarah. And be sure. Thanks, Sarah. And be sure.
I can't wait to start that line over again.
And Metalon sends us simulators. I'm just gonna read from the bits. It says here, this. See, this is impossible.
Yeah, you know it. I'll keep watching Battlecast Primetime. Maybe the new ninja will make some.
But rather than destroying each other, they start in a similar race. You're gonna be fine, David.
Arr!
That's a collective view, by the way.
Coming up, I'll help you manage your queues so you don't get stuck behind the 8-ball.
Insufficient funds.
Plus, battle casting. No, it's not a new form of extreme fishing, and ready for base expansion? We're gonna see. Dev tested, player approved, this is Command School. You're watching Command School, I'm Greg Kasavin. This is your one-stop source for C&C tips, tricks, and secrets. Each month, I'll interrogate fellow developers to bring you killer strategies for amateurs and pros alike. Even if you're a top-ranked player, you'll want to hear these strats and techniques. After all, your opponents are going to be watching. But first, a beginner's tip, battlecasting. Battlecasting your match is the only way to be showcased on Battlecast Primetime. But what is it? If a match is battlecast, anyone who owns the game can watch it at commandandconquer.com by clicking on the Battlecast tab. Browse or search until you find a match to watch, and then click its icon. Here you can see the match stats and download the replay. To battlecast your own match, create an online game and click on the Broadcast tab. Give your match a name and description, then make sure Broadcast Game is checked. Tape Delay lets you select how long it'll take for your match to appear online. This lets you be sure your opponent isn't watching the battlecast as you square off. Alright, now a more advanced tip. The first 2 minutes of your game are the most frantic and the most critical. What you do with these 2 minutes is referred to as your build order, and it dictates your strategy for the rest of the game. First, I'll show you a balanced build order. You'll want a crane so you can build 2 structures at once, but you should never build it first. Each queue will drain 100 credits per second, so if you don't start with a refinery, you'll zero out. First, build a power plant, then a barracks so you can grab any tip spikes on the map. Next, drop a refinery and then your crane. In your first queue, build a power plant, then a refinery, and in your second queue, another refinery. With 3 refineries placed, build a war factory and start amassing your army. Don't forget about infantry and base defenses. Then build 2 more refineries and a second war factory. At 5 refineries, 2 war factories, and a barracks, you're off to a great start. Send out your forces in strong, balanced waves, always leaving enough to defend your base as well. Slowly build technology structures and upgrades, but remember, it's not a race with a balanced build order. If you don't have the patience for that, you're probably a rusher. A rusher gets vehicles and play fast and harasses the enemy's base before he's built up his defenses. Try this: refinery, power plant, war factory. From here, many players build a second war factory, but that's not smart. Each war factory drains 100 credits per second, and each refinery only brings in 50. That means you'll need 3 more refineries and another power plant before you even think about that second war factory. Now you can place the second war factory and prepare your second wave, probably light tanks. A good rusher never has a huge army. Instead, he has harassment forces all over the map trying to take out the enemy fast. Your enemy's nukes are worthless with that defeated logo spinning away. Those are 2 of the most popular build orders. Try them out and see which one works best for you, then adapt it to your own unique playstyle. And of course, keep watching Command School for more smart and sometimes wacky build orders, from the Tech Turtle to the MCV Charge and everything in between. With all the base creeping online these days, it's rare to see a surveyor in action. Players prefer to expand by dropping expensive airfields end-to-end in a strategy known as the creep. The truth is, a surveyor or explorer or emissary is actually a better way to go. Think about it. With your structures close, it only takes 2 or 3 base defenses to protect against engineers and commandos. Not true in a long creep. Plus, in patch 1.08, cranes can no longer build base defenses, making creeps even weaker. A surveyor will actually get you up and running at your expansion faster and cheaper. They're only 750 credits if you sell them off after you unpack. But using a surveyor is tricky. It has very few hit points, and often your opponent will have a few light tanks waiting in ambush at your expansion field. That's 1,500 credits down the drain. Try unpacking it just out of sight of the expansion field, or, if you're feeling particularly ruthless, unpack it at your opponent's base just out of sight. From here, you can place a war factory and all the base defenses you can afford. If you ever find yourself up against a base creep, fear not. It's probably poorly defended. Creeps rely solely on a strong front line, so cut it off by sneaking in an engineer or commando into the unprotected midsection. And if you could get just 5 tanks in the back of a creeper's base, you should be able to take out the crane, slowing his expansion by 50%. After that, hit him with everything you've got. All right, it's homework time. Hop online and Battlecast your match, then show off your new build orders, surveyor rushes, and structuring superiority. Then tune in next time for more exclusive tips, tricks, and strategies straight from the C&C3 developers themselves. For Command & Conquer TV, I'm Greg Kasavin. Coming up, it's a Scrin Spectacular. I'll show you how to make more than just crop circles with these alien invaders, plus garrisoning, who's in and who's out. And think you're too good for Command School? Think again. Top-ranked ladder players explain their own strategies in Command School honors.
I mean, come on, how sweet is that?
Cue up the explosion montage. This is Command School. You're watching Command School. I'm Greg Kasavin. Each month, I work tirelessly to bring you the best strategies, tips, and techniques. Let's kick it off with a beginner's tip for noobs only. A garrison will give a group of infantry all the protection of a structure, plus a bonus to their maximum range. And most importantly, you can't squish structures by rolling over them with a bunch of tanks. Since most structures can only hold a few units, choosing which ones to garrison is key. A good general composition is 2 anti-vehicle units, rocket squads, and so on, and 1 powerful anti-infantry, sniper teams, Black Hand, or even a commando. Each faction has 2 garrison clearing units as well. These units can instantly kill everything inside a garrison. On the infantry side, watch out for grenadiers, the Black Hand, and buzzers. For vehicles, beware of grenadiers and APCs, flame tanks, and corruptors. If you see one of these units approaching your garrison, you stand a better chance of evacuating the building and fighting them on the ground. Don't just give them the instant kill. If you're the one clearing the garrison, use the right unit for the job. Don't go charging those rockets with your flame tanks. Remember that units gain veterancy over time, so always use the right units for the job. and use those empty buildings to keep your infantry alive. But enough of that. It's time for the patent-pending Scrin Spectacular. The Scrin are known for their late-game dominance. An army of tripods and planetary assault carriers is practically unstoppable, but their early game is nothing to be ashamed of either. The Scrin are the only faction to get an anti-garrison unit right off the bat, buzzers. Plus, most of their support powers are instant, unlike Nod and GDI, who have to wait for air support. Scrin have an excellent economy potential. Great news, since they really shine in the always expensive late game. For starters, they have no limit to Tiberium gathering, so they never have to worry about Tiberium silos or anything like that. More conveniently, Scrin growth accelerators will keep those TIB fields greener longer, and they're available right away. Speaking of Tiberium, it actually heals Scrin units. One unit in particular, the Corruptor, sprays Tiberium as a weapon. That's bad news for GDI and Nod, but great news for your injured troops. Force firing a Corruptor on your units will heal them on the go. Once the Scrin get a nerve center, the most powerful air force in the game is unlocked. Scrin airships never have to return and reload, separating them from Orcas, Firehawks, and Vertigos. Plus, the Scrin Mothership and Planetary Assault Carrier, or PAC, are the only Tier 4 units in the game, requiring a signal transmitter to be built. PACs can create mobile ion storms, just like a storm column, in addition to their incredible firepower. These ion storms grant all other Scrin air forces a significant attack and defense bonus, great for helping Devastator warships demolish your enemy's base from off-screen. The Scrin also have a few abilities that are just plain fun. Their shock troopers have a long-range teleport, upgraded at the technology assembler, and their commando unit, the Mastermind, has some amazing micro potential. Unlike GDI and Nod, the Mastermind shies away from C4. Instead, he controls units and buildings. You can capture and sell to achieve that same C4 effect, or you can use the enemy structure against the enemy. Try capturing a barracks, cranking out a bunch of engineers, and taking over the entire enemy base. Don't forget to try the wormhole support power as well. This lets you send an unlimited stream of units at your opponent. And then there's the Mothership, but more on that in a little while. So give these fun-loving aliens a chance. If you can make it to the late game, I guarantee you'll like what you see. Now, it's time to check out the game-ending explosions montage. Each faction has its own super weapon. The Rift Generator for the Scrin, the Ion Cannon for GDI, and the Nuke for the Nod. The Rift Generator is the only instant cast weapon, meaning it's really useful against enemy armies as well as structures. Oftentimes, wiping out an entire army is much more devastating than taking out a few structures. The Ion Cannon is the least effective superweapon against armies, as it gives away its location before dealing full damage. But the Shockwave Artillery is a GDI support power that doesn't give away its location so much. Not only does this ability deal damage, it also uses an EMP power to power down vehicles and structures. Nod has the most endgame base killers, the Nuke, Catalyst Missile, and Tiberium Vapor Bomb. The Catalyst is especially good against enemy refineries, and the Tiberium Vapor Bomb, while expensive, can severely damage or destroy most enemy structures. All of these abilities, coupled with a few stealth Vertigos, can lay waste to almost any base. Of course, so can a bunch of avatars, especially since there are health and damage buffs in the 1.09 update. One of the most fun and difficult endgame units has to be the Scrin Mothership. It's incredibly fragile, moves very slowly, and has a 5-second charge period before firing, during which it's completely vulnerable. But if you manage to get it over your opponent's base intact, the Catalyst Cannon has limitless destructive potential. Each explosion triggers another within a radius, meaning it could clear out an entire map. If your opponent used base creeping to reach his expansion field, all you need to do is take out the farthest building, and in a domino reaction, he'll be wiped off the playing field. And now it's time to introduce a new segment for you hardcore players out there. If you think you're too elite for my lessons, maybe you should teach the class. It's time for Command School Honors, where we let members of the top-ranked C&C Elite show us their stuff. To get your strat featured on Command School Honors, email a replay with voice commentary to commandschool@ea.com. If you make the grade, maybe you can come to the head of the class. Tonight's strategy was submitted by Necron. It's a little number he calls the Ultimate Shadow Team Rush. Let's take a look.
Hi, I'm Necron. I'm playing Nod in the bottom right corner here. Now I'm a player who doesn't like to get predictable, so apart from mostly playing random, I also like to mix in a crazy all-or-nothing strat once in a while. One of which I'll be showing you today, my Ultimate Shadow Team Rush. In the top left corner, I'm facing Pop 770, who will be performing the classic Shadow Team Rush, so we will only train 2 from his barracks. and get 2 from the support power, and he'll combine those with the 1 he gets for selling a secret shrine. This will get him 5 shadow teams, not coincidentally the number needed to destroy a refinery or a war factory. I, however, plant down a second barracks right after building the secret shrine. I build 4 shadow teams from the first barracks and then 3 from the second. Combining that with shadow teams from the support power and the 1 I also get for selling my shrine brings my total up to 10. Oh, by the way, before I forget, I like to set those barracks on no attack stance, because the shadows may otherwise give themselves away, and this tactic relies fully on surprise. Now, in the meantime, his shadow teams are about to arrive in my base just as I finish gathering up my strike force. Now I will just spam the occasional power plant and anti-infantry just to keep his shadow teams busy. In the meantime, my shadow teams are going to his base. One thing that's important, do not get detected. Okay, now here comes the brilliance of the strategy. We start the game by bombing the hell out of your opponent's MCV. I mean, come on, how sweet is that? And the shadow teams are not being very useful at my base either. They keep destroying the occasional power plant, but they're not actually useful. I just keep them busy. This is the real difference, by the way, between my ultimate shadow team rush and the classic one. The classic one only goes for harassment, hoping to come out on top of the investment of the shadow teams, while my ultimate shadow team rush goes straight for the jugular. And now after clearing up the MCV, basically all that's left for me is to clean up what he's got left. As you can see, my ultimate shadow team rush clearly beats the classic one in this match, but be careful though. Some stealth detection and a single anti-infantry vehicle or turret can completely destroy your effort if you're not careful.
Thank you, Necron. Before we go, it's time for the GameReplays.org Tip of the Week.
The Tip of the Week, brought to you by GameReplays.org.
Here's a few helpful hints for microing your forces we like to call the rules of engagement. First, focus your fire. This one's important. Make sure that your units fire upon a single target at a time, because the quicker you can take down individual units, the less damage you'll receive. Try to pick off those units with the most firepower and least amount of armor first. Pay special attention to what's killing your units the quickest and unload on them. And always kick them when they're down. Target those units that have already been damaged. In order to see which units are ripe for the picking, bring up health bars by pressing Control and the tilde key. It's the key next to the number 1. Check out more tips at GameReplays.org. Well, that about does it for this month's Command School. So go sharpen your screen skills, own your micro, and try out those game enders. Dev-tested, player-approved. For Command School, I'm Greg Kasavin. Watch new episodes the second Thursday of every month, only at commandandconquertv.com.